welcome to the 5th episode 9 spoiler cast that we have on the 4205 cast. It's your boy Andre, and today I have with me
Yes! Theo!
Chris.
Annette!
He had to ruin it. He just had to fucking tank it.
That's all.
God damn it.
It's been a while. We're back at it. It's Joe and Joe.
Okay, good. It's not quite episode 200 yet.
No, it is not.
Something that's, still in there.
Yep.
It's in there. It's coming.
That's true.
We haven't quit.
We have something amazing planned for you. We're lying. We're totally lying.
Absolutely, we have nothing.
Absolutely.
Everything. We had stuff, and then that stuff went away.
Yep.
And then we're just life
went crazy.
Yeah. Tell me about it, Jesus.
Like this one.
Yeah.
This one had a toddler. Like this one moved. This one. Yeah. Share the news on us, there, Chris.
I have been accepted to grad school. I was working on my grad school application, and that is all taken care of now. And yes, I will be attending Hunter graduation school for my graduate degree. So
What?
yes,
Wait.
there's more. I also got engaged.
Hey!
Congrats.
So Claire is now my
Congratulations.
fiance. Yeah, a lot happened over this year.
Really? Like,
So
2021 wasn't crazy enough.
yeah, so sorry about the lack of episodes. We did not forget about everyone, but we were all just lots of life craziness happening.
I'm still a bum though.
We still love you though. It's okay. Mostly.
All right. So we're not going to spend too long on this because this is a specific episode we're doing.
Yes.
We're doing a spoiler cast for Metroid Dread, a game that is almost 19 years in the making in terms of a nice sequel. So, maybe it'll be a little juicy episode.
Yeah. We definitely had to come together for this one.
So, real
Wait,
talk.
hold on.
Okay.
Hold on.
All right.
We got to do the spoiler declaration.
Of course.
Because in case you couldn't tell from me calling it a spoiler cast, this is going to be filled with spoilers for Metroid Dread, which means that if you don't want to be spoiled for Metroid Dread, you should probably not listen or watch this episode until you're done playing Metroid Dread.
Absolutely.
Are you done playing Metroid Dread now? Great. You
No.
can start listening to the episode.
Enjoy. It's going to be fun.
And we're going to spoil other Metroids as well.
So
Yes, this is yes.
So
Maybe other Metroidvanias. I don't know.
if you're listening to this podcast, please pause the podcast, go finish Metroid Dread, and then unpause the episode of the podcast.
Do yourself that great favor and finish this magnificent game and come back.
Oh.
And also finish all the other games that have ever been made. In case we accidentally spoil something.
Yeah, we'll probably look if there's
Bayonetta.
anything in this genre, we will probably spoil something.
Even other M, finish that.
I'm about to drop a spoiler.
That game's not terrible, guys.
Yes, Theo, it is. It's bad.
Terrible.
You're right. It's
horrible.
just character assassination. It's fine.
Yeah, but they brought it back with this one.
Yeah, they really did. Man. So
All right. So with that out of the way, go ahead, Chris. What were you saying?
Okay. I really like how they announced this game. I really appreciated it because
How did they do that?
it was like, here's a trailer. Oh, it's coming out in October. And when did that trailer drop? May?
I guess so.
It was sometime around the E3-ish area.
Yeah. It was not long ago. And they were just like, oh, and Metroid 5. And I went, wait, what?
Once they dropped the 5, I was like,
I went, oh, shit. Because, our last Metroid release was fucking, the Federation Prime Force or whatever the fuck.
come on, what are you doing? What are you calling it? Don't invoke that name.
Federation
Force.
Actually,
Whatever.
not the terrible game that people make it out to be.
It's not bad.
You're right. It just shouldn't have been called Metroid. And then it wouldn't have died in the dirt.
It's actually a really cool co-op loot game. It's weird.
I'm sure it is. I'm sure it is. They just shouldn't have fucking called it Metroid.
Well, Metroid Pinball, so there's precedence for this.
At least Samus is the ball,
right? Yeah, anything where the character becomes a ball.
Chris, is Metal Gear Solid 2 a Metal Gear game?
Of course it is. Don't be absurd.
Okay.
You do play a Solid Snake at some point.
Okay. You can play a Samus in Federation Force, by the way.
Whatever.
At the end.
That's fun.
Just like Snake does.
Just like Snake does.
That's true, he does. Whatever. Raiden beat Solidus's ass with no help. I don't want to hear it.
Spoilers for a game. That's not Dread.
That game is also like 19 years old, so it's fine.
You mean 20, right?
Yeah.
Oh shit. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Like,
Actually,
like as of like 2 weeks ago or some shit. Yeah.
Tell it too, yeah. It really dates itself.
Yeah, a little bit.
I was definitely not expecting that Metroid announcement, especially since everybody was waiting for Metroid Prime 4, which we still
Yeah, that was announced first, wasn't it?
It really was.
And then scrapped, so they had to pretty much start over.
Yeah. Which they have they've like confirmed that too, right? They're like, it's still coming, but like
it was CyberConnect, I believe, was initially doing it, and then it went back to retro.
What? Man, what is CyberConnect dropping the ball with these like other franchises?
They make anime games. That's all they make.
They like Square took their FF7 remake back and like, stop it, give me that shit. And they did the same thing.
Nintendo would have paid attention after that happened.
Mm-hmm. They must have, because they clearly did the same thing. So yeah, when they drop that number next to it, because I love that that's how we get mainline Metroid games. The game, it's never in the title. It's just in like it's in the preface of the game where it's Metroid 5, and it's like
except for Samus Returns.
Yeah,
which really was actually just called Metroid 2 when it was.
That's true. Yeah,
it was Metroid 2 Return of Samus or Samus Returns.
Yeah, Metroid 2 Return of Samus is the official title. Yeah, but yeah, fuck, man. It's again. I love this day and age of like, oh yeah, and it'll be out a couple months, or it's out next month, or it's out today.
Nintendo's like the king of that.
Right. I love it.
Right.
Yep. I love it.
And like nothing ever leaks.
It's amazing. Well, it's because they don't play games with Nintendo, man.
You don't get hunted by Nintendo ninjas.
I'm pretty sure, like your cell phones just get wiped as you come in and out of that building.
Right.
Seriously.
Like a Dave Chappelle special where you have to put your phone in the lockbox.
No, for real. It's exactly it, man. Like that's exactly how that shit works, man.
But when they announced it, I was like, okay, yeah. And then they said from Mercury Steam, and I'm like, okay, that's yeah.
I mean, they made the last Samus game, right?
Return is really good, but none of you guys have played Mirrors of Fate.
No,
I dislike that game a lot.
It's a bad game. It's a bad video game. So when I heard,
was very nervous.
Right. So
for Samus Returns,
Samus Return was a good template for Metroid 2, right? It's not. I wouldn't call it my favorite Metroid, or even in the top, like, I guess 5 at this point. Mm-hmm. But it had a good foundation for something that they could have really built off of. And initially seeing this, I was like, okay, Samus Return was good, but they also made Mirrors of Fate. Mirrors of Fate is really bad, guys. I just got to preface that again.
Look, here's the thing. I think the big difference is that was a handheld game from Konami. Right, and this is a mainline Switch game, and the previous one was a DS game. I'm pretty sure whoever was lording over from Konami was like, yeah, it looks fine. And like the Nintendo guy was like,
now fix that.
Well, fix that shit. Fix that. No. What is this? No. Like whoever was like this was like.
It's kind of fair because we've had handheld Castlevanias before that were phenomenal.
Yeah, but they were in-house Konami games.
Right. So now
Konami cared.
Yeah, and that was when they gave a shit.
Yeah, I was very nervous about this, but coming from the guys that made Mirrors of Fate to now making my favorite 2D Metroid game is fucking crazy.
I agree with that statement entirely.
I was definitely nervous for Samus Returns, but once I saw this, and I was satisfied with Samus Returns.
Yes, it's totally fine.
There were changes that they made to what the game was that I don't necessarily agree with, but in terms of how the game plays and what it's trying to do, yeah, I like the game.
Yes.
So once I saw that they did that and Nintendo gave them this and I saw it, I was like, okay, I'm cool with that. And then I saw it in movement. I'm like, oh,
that was the thing. When I saw
60 FPS and it's fast.
It's 60 FPS. It's so fast that initially, like, I was taken aback. I was like, this Samus feels way too slippery. Like, I don't know what's going on right now.
She's not though, and that's what's great. Like, she's just booking it in this fucking game,
you know,
man.
The thing that literally sold me was the in motion counters. So you could do a counter in movement. I was like, okay, that is the one thing that I did not like Samus Return for. Like, because
really slick.
Yeah, at a certain point, you're just standing there until you see the counter flash, and you're like, okay, I'm just gonna counter. But in this, you're like, no, I'm trucking it. And if somebody's counter, like, yeah, let's go.
They really, I think that's one of my favorite things about this game, amongst many, many other things that I want to talk about today. But like, the movement in this fucking game, man, felt so good. The aiming was really good. I like the loose aiming while you're running and whatnot. It gets a little frustrating sometimes when you're trying to duck and shoot. That's my only real complaint about like this aiming system. But it's a minor complaint at best, because everything else feels so fucking crisp and so good.
Yeah.
And like, you know, when you first like when you're doing the slides and shit at first, and you're like, okay, no morph ball at first. That's weird. No morph ball for like
2 hours.
3 hours. 3 hours. What is 3 hours for me the first time?
3 hour morph ball for me.
I'm like, what is happening?
Absolutely loved it.
And you don't. It was so good. It really, like, it showed like they're still sticking to the formula, but their willingness to deviate with that morph ball decision, I knew was like, oh, they're really going for something here. This is cool.
It only works because of the slide.
Yes,
that's really it. Yeah,
yeah.
That's the whole reason the slide exists, is to actually stall the classic morph ball, which is like the first thing you get in every single Metroid game.
Yeah. And it was really smart of them too, because the slide doesn't negate the morph ball at all.
No,
which makes it better.
It really does. It makes you appreciate it more, which is crazy.
The fact that you can go right from the slide into the morph ball is part of the movement process, which makes this game feel excellent.
If there was like a percentage meter to show like how much you use more, like between the slide and the morph ball, I'm sure the slide would like absolutely overtook in the morph ball for me.
It's faster.
Yeah, it's faster.
I absolutely love using it.
So yeah, it was so fucking good. Like I really like. I want to go over every part of this game in terms of like its mechanics and what it did, because it took every piece of anything I've ever loved from Metroid and I think fucking executed it in an amazing way.
So I guess I'm gonna ask you guys this question: like, what do you guys come to Metroid for? Like, specifically Metroid.
Okay, I want to answer that. I want to answer that because
you don't
I
get to do it.
Cool.
Mr. Super Metroid.
Yeah, I have a rich history with the genre.
Right.
And for years it's probably been, it's probably been my favorite genre, and probably one of the only ones I really can go back to on a regular basis and truly enjoy, no matter what it is. I've played dozens and dozens of these things. And like it all stems from the itch that I want to scratch just from playing Super Metroid for the first time, and just trying to chase that dragon ever since, trying to get back to like a game of that quality. And to be fair, still haven't really found it. I don't think there's anyone better. I still don't think there's another Metroidvania that's better than that game.
Interesting.
Symphony of the Night is probably close. But like ever since then, every single one is aspiring to be one of those two things.
Right.
But what I expect out of a Metroidvania is I expect the game to not hold my hand. I hate it when a Metroidvania tries to hold my hand and tells me, you need to go this way. Like, no, I don't want to go this way. So freedom is number one. Freedom in a Metroidvania is the most important thing for me. Like number two, quality secrets. sense of discovery is extremely important. That ties in with the freedom aspect.
Right.
And the number 3 thing is it needs to be fun. Otherwise, the other 2 things don't even matter.
Right. Yeah.
So the gameplay itself needs to be challenging, rewarding, entertaining. Everything needs to feel meaningful.
Okay.
So that's what I'm kind of expecting in a Metroidvania. Like the fact that I go in there, I'm free to go where I want, find whatever you put lying around, and you make it worth it for me.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. What about you, Dread? Okay. Well, if you wanna.
For me, I'm looking to get lost.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing really beats when you're playing a game and you don't really know what is happening yet. You know, you have no idea of the layout. You don't know what's expected of you, and you're just starting to learn and piece things together. And you have nowhere to go. You just don't know what to do.
Mm-hmm.
And Super Metroid was pretty good at that. You know, it definitely did not, like, maybe 1 or 2 places early, it puts you on a path and, you know, blocks you so you can't go back. This game does that a few more times than Super Metroid did, but what Super Metroid ends up doing is once it opens up for you, it's just like you have so many options. It's like getting your Dark World access 5 minutes into the game.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like everything's open to you and you don't know where to go next and what to do, and it's just you get lost.
Mm-hmm.
And you know that feeling is pretty good. Like Joe said before, getting your hand held in these games is generally not a good experience. And that happened in Fusion. You got your hand held a lot. However, I think Fusion wasn't it's going to sound funny, but for being a Metroid game, I don't think it was trying to go with the Metroid formula.
Right.
No, I completely agree.
Which is
right.
vintage Nintendo.
Mm-hmm.
So once I saw that, it wasn't about really getting lost as much as like following orders and disobeying those orders, which was kind of like the freedom that you didn't have. But like they would be like, go here, and you'd be like, I don't want to go here. And you do your best to try to disobey those orders. And at one point they even like program in like a massive sequence break in that game. And when you find it, you're like, oh yeah, you were trying to tell me where to go, huh, bitch? But you know, it didn't really happen that often in Fusion, but there was some random stuff. But in this game, even though they do kind of like put you on a critical path, there's a lot of freedom, but because they're so good at putting you on the critical path, you don't quite realize it.
Not at first.
The alternate pathways are tricky and really obfuscated.
Right.
They are just totally not at all obvious and feel like it kind of feels like you're taking the long way.
Yeah.
For a couple of them anyway.
I mean, you do get well rewarded for it.
You do.
Yes, you do.
And they did definitely plan for you to be able to do it.
Right. That's my favorite thing about this.
Either they planned it or what they did was they found out you could do it and then put in something that rewarded you for finding it.
I don't think so. I think this thing is it's meticulously crafted in a way where it's like, okay, we're gonna have a very at initially seems very linear, but if you know what you're doing, you could break this thing wide open.
Okay, so let's talk about our first spoiler. Let's talk about crate bombs.
Right.
Let's talk about crate bombs.
Right.
Let's talk about that.
Extremely out of the way from where they put you onto it.
Yeah.
In fact, if you're speedrunning the game, it is one of the worst sequence breaks you could do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Crate bombs.
Yeah.
But if you find it, you get to instant kill a boss.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's amazing.
And here's the sequence you take just seems so unintended.
Right.
That when you get there, you're like, okay,
this can't be right.
No, it's not like it's first off, no, you can't be right. And then when you're able to do it on Kraid, because you shouldn't have those items when you get to Kraid, you are just like, why did they put this here? Was this? And I can't help but think they put this in here after the fact because somebody in playtesting who was like
broke the sequence clearly
broke the sequence. Like here, we can do this. Your choices are either to fix this or just like I guess we'll let people. I guess we'll do something about it. You know?
Yeah.
There's another one where that boss gets you the storm missiles, that electric flying bug thing, and he's kind of a real pain in the ass.
He's an asshole.
not like the hardest boss, but he's just kind of
he's obnoxious.
Pain in the ass.
He's the boss in the I don't want to belabor him too long, but he's the only boss in the game that kind of has no pattern where you kind of figure you can't download him. It's like a fight for attrition. It's like
I brute force that fucker.
It's like which one is going to last?
I brute force the fuck out of that motherfucker.
The whole game.
A little bit after that, you end up with the screw attack, and the screw attack's like, "Hey, this is effective against electric monsters."
Like, damn it! Like, I wish I had this before.
Boy, man, that would have been great if I had that for that boss. Well, you can get it.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure. I haven't watched too many of the sequence breaks in this game, but like I'm now that I've finished the game, I want to watch. Like, I can't wait to see what speed runs in this game are gonna look
screw
like.
Attack basically negates that whole boss.
Yeah, that's pressing.
He's nothing at that point.
Doesn't Screw Attack like negate most bosses though? That's why you get it so late. Like
Screw Attack traditionally never did anything against bosses.
Yeah.
That's fair. Yeah. So I'm with Theo on. I think this game was meticulously designed. Like it is. There's a lot of one-way doors that trick you into going the way that they want you to go in a lot of ways, but like I'll be honest, this is my favorite Metroid game, I think, ever now. Like, this replaced Fusion, because what I come to Metroid for personally is I definitely like the sense of exploration, and I don't mind getting lost, but I think certain Metroid games or Metroidvania games, if I get lost for too long, I get bored. And it pisses me off. Because it's like, I'm just running around the same fucking areas at this point.
I feel like that's the Hollow Knight syndrome right there.
It happens, like, I can even cite, like, certain Castlevania games. Like, the Castlevania Collection came out, and I played through Circle of the Moon first, and smiling the whole time, because God, I love that game. And then I picked, I forget this, is it Harmony?
Harmony of Dissonance.
Harmony of Dissonance, and like I was playing Harmony, and like, man, there's a part in that game you just straight up don't know where the fuck to go. And I dropped it because I'm like, I can't do this right now. I don't have the brain for it, and it was frustrating. And I'm like, oh, this is the thing that I hate about these games. I don't mind getting lost and figuring out, but like, if you're making me backtrack, if I'm lost and it like 80% of the map is open, you fucked up. You fucked up, because no one should feel lost with 80% of the map opened. That's wild. You know? And this game never did that. I never felt lost. This game was very good about keeping you on track in a way that didn't feel like it was completely holding your hand. Instead it was. Yeah, I did too. I got lost like at least twice, right? But it never felt like, it was never that frustration lost, because the gameplay loop is super fun. And because Samus was booking ass the whole time,
right?
Like it never felt like it never felt slow to me, you know? And yeah, I got lost a little bit towards the end, and that was pretty much it. Like, I think I lost like once. Actually, now I think about it,
I have a super embarrassing loss where I think it's your first time going to Dairon. And
it was a David Jaff moment.
No. Actually, when I didn't watch that video, but when he was talking about getting lost, I was like, it's probably the same spot. There is a location, there's a train going to Dairon, and you have to shoot out. It's either blocking the ceiling or the floor. I think it's the floor.
Yeah, and I know what you're talking about.
Some random ass block, and I'm sitting here like, damn, where am I supposed to go? Because you're locked in both ways. Like, you take the train, you go back, and you're locked in. You take the train back to Dairon, and you're locked in. So I'm like, and I was stuck there for honestly like 2 hours till I shot. I'm like, it's like, oh yeah, Metroid, shoot everything,
shoot everything, yeah.
And I shot the rocket and everything. I was like, oh, duh, like yeah.
I had a pretty dumb one too, where I failed to pull down like an elevator thing.
Oh yeah,
I was like, it was so frustrating. I'm like, I just never found it, and I was close to like looking it up, and then unfortunately I was streaming, and Andre was like, "Don't, like, you'll find this."
Yeah,
and I'm like, "You have given me the strength to continue."
And
I eventually got it, and I felt really stupid.
Yeah, yeah, because I think for me it was literally like I took a left and I needed to take a right.
Yeah, but like that
and then I backtracked so much that I got completely fucking turned around.
So that kind of reinforced my initial impressions of this game, and at first I really didn't like this game.
Really?
I thought I
can see that. I can see why.
At first, I really didn't like.
It's pretty fusion.
It felt like fusion at first, and I'm like, oh, they're really restricting me. They're like forcing me down a path. They're not giving me a lot of tools to work with, and I felt really enclosed the whole time. The game itself is very cloistered. Like there's always a ceiling above you.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
And I kind of don't wish that was the case. You know, I kind of wish there was more open areas. Like, it's fine if I have a ceiling over me for most of the game. That's cool. But, like, part of the reason that made Super Metroid so good is, like, there's some there's some parts of the game that just feel really big and expansive. And some other ones that are just, like, tiny and cloistered. And, like, the contrast there is amazing. Like for this game, I felt like I was just spending pretty much the entire time in a tunnel.
Too much tunnel for you.
Too much tunnel. Even Metroid 2, they were like vast, expansive areas.
You're underground, you know. I
think to that point, when I first got Super Metroid for the Super Nintendo, I honestly didn't like that game for a long time because of its expansiveness, and I was like, I wasn't used to games at that like that. I was used to very, you know, like
linear
2D side scrollers, and that game was just too big for me. So for years, I didn't really think I liked the genre up until Symphony of the Night, to be honest with you. And I was like, oh, you guys just put my two favorite genres, a platformer and an RPG, into one. Yeah, I like this shit.
Yeah.
And then, you know, playing more Metroidvanias, and then finally going to Guacamelee, which I think is a fantastic Metroidvania. It's like one of my favorite. And it made me realize that I love the gameplay loop of Metroidvanias. That is the paramount thing for me. Like, I don't care about getting lost. Like, Fusion is a fantastic game to me because they guided me in that experience. Like, I don't mind getting lost here and there, but I need to be able to, like, if I want to get back on track, like, there's a way for me to get back on track. And I've actually beaten Super fairly recently, like maybe in the last 5 years, and I was like, yeah, I get this game now, but it would not have been for me like when I originally played it.
Listen, I've beaten Super Metroid countless times, and I still get lost in that game.
Yeah. I get lost every time I play it.
Yeah,
every time.
The minute I get to Meridia, I'm like, all right,
so I can understand that.
Like, oh, we're in Meridia. Now I can't. Now I can't navigate.
Nope, I have no idea where the fuck I'm going now.
Yeah. It's like I've played up to Meridia. Okay, it's time to just
stop.
New game.
So, for this game to have the thing I care about the most, which is the gameplay, and still have a guided experience while you can be able to get lost, I was like, yeah, this is the perfect Metroid thing for me. Like, and as Dre mentioned before, like, one of the outliers for me is Hollow Knight. Like, you get super lost in Hollow Knight.
Unbelievably lost.
And to the point, combat is so punishing in that game, and I don't know why I like that game so much. like I know why.
You like Dark Souls, that's why.
I actually hate the Dark Souls part of that game. It's actually infuriating. But it's like the antithesis to what I like about the Metroid genre, Metroidvania genre. But Dread just hits everything. Every single thing. Like,
this game, man.
It's finally fun in a Metroid game.
This game, honestly, like, I feel like it did so many of the things that every other Metroid game wanted to do. Like, we get, like, obviously, Samus doesn't talk, or barely.
She does?
I know, she talks for like, she talks
and screams.
Yeah, she screams a lot.
She speaks Chozo in this.
Oh, it's so cool. Okay, so Samus barely talks, right? And most of her personality comes through in her movement.
Body language,
which, like, when you fight that first boss, and she's just
the scorpions, the
invisible scorpion thing, and the last part where she's just like walking to the side of him after you've already wrecked this thing, and the counter system, like the counter system for the bosses, just fucking made me giddy. I had it's like, oh, this is how we incorporate character action bits from Other M. Right. And I thought that was a really smart way to do it in a way that didn't feel intrusive to the main gameplay.
Mm-hmm.
Where you still get to see Samus being a complete and utter fucking badass while she's like charging the cannon, kind of off screen for like a second, blasts a thing, flips through, superhero landing as the thing drops dead, and you're like, that's that's fucking she's just fucking perfect. And my favorite is Kraid.
She sees Kraid and like, this
I love when he like shoots the spine and she just like kind of sidesteps it a little. She's like, whatever, man. Like
the charge up at the end, just standing there, and you just see the fucking charge happen. That shit is so sick, dude. Like, it's all in the little things.
She has a swagger to her, like Dante has a swagger, like Dante from Devil May Cry. But he's like kind of like, hey, he's cool, right? Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Like she's just like, no.
For Samus, she's just like, this is fucking Tuesday.
Yeah, and it's amazing. It's amazing. Like just the little bits of characterization that come through with zero dialogue.
It's almost like she's heroically exasperated.
Mm-hmm.
I got a job to do.
Yeah, right.
I love one of my favorite cutscenes when you meet Quiet Robe and he walks up behind her and she like turns around and like readies a cannon. And then when she sees it's him, she just like kind of like, he's like, all right, I don't have to fight anymore. I've been on this mission for like how much hours now? It's just a really good character moment for her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I actually really liked the, all 10 seconds of the plot of this game.
I mean, there was enough to...
Yeah.
That's all I want.
Yeah.
And that's why it was so good.
The only problem... Like, God, oh my God, Metroid games are so horrible at ending themselves.
I thought it was fun.
This ending is pretty just like, it just ends.
Like, you win, see you next mission.
Also, the planet exploding with nothing really triggering an explosion.
Yeah,
it's just a spaceship fell.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's it, huh?
Yeah.
That's enough to nuke the entire planet. Like, what
apparently
did he have on it?
Look, I think the Chozos just had
we've seen what Chozo tech is capable of.
I think the Chozos just have really bad like safety regulations. Clearly,
okay.
I'm just saying it's very bad for planets. Right? Obviously,
they put their super weapons in poorly defended alien blades.
They can just walk up and just like, hey, this is part of my suit now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What power up do you think that Experiment 57 had? The one that landed in the lava. What do you think that power up was?
God, I don't know. Maybe Shine Spark, because you just nuke him with the Shine Spark. My own thing.
So do we like the fact that Samus is just Mega Man though?
Yeah, I do.
I'm okay with it.
Always has been.
No, this game is.
But she's actually she's literally absorbing shit now.
Because there's precedent for it now after Metroid Fusion.
Right.
The whole Metroid motif is to like suck the energy out of other living creatures. Right. So transfer the energy to themselves, and like she's I guess the suit is kind of like a living organism in itself.
Right.
At least I always thought it was.
And she's incorporated herself into that biotechnology or whatever, and like she's part Metroid, part Chozo, part
Markin, part like
something, right?
Part I don't know.
So she's like
suit.
Yeah, she's like
badass.
She's the ultimate life form now.
No, she's a warrior.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe without the promos. No Justrucity.
Load the spaceship with the rocket fuel.
To Joe's point, he mentioned absorbing powers. What do we think about the Emmys?
So I think right now there's one about to climb through your window, Theo.
Right. It's like that perfect size. So I love them. I really like their incorporation. I like how they got more threatening as you got further along in the game, even despite your power-ups and whatnot. Like, I like it. Like I like the story beat of them getting disarmed for a moment, but then they come back, and I like after a while you kind of figure out which one's going to give you what power up.
Yeah.
It's like when I got to like saw the light blue, and I'm like, oh, there's my ice beam. Okay, that's cool.
This guy's running really fast. I wonder what this one is.
Yeah, exactly. Like
how they kind of break up the gameplay.
Yeah, like
they do feel intrusive at first,
and they managed to bring in the scenes from Fusion with the X parasites hunting you and you can't do shit, but they incorporated it into the gameplay instead of just being like a cutscene sort of. And I really, again, another thing that I really love about this game, it's taking this really cool thing from this Metro game that I loved and kind of doing it better.
Right.
And like. I really think it was. I think those enemy sections are fantastic, and they never. And I like that when you die to them, if you don't escape, I like that you can escape from them. I really like that counter mechanic. I like how difficult the timing is because it feels real fucking good when you do it.
I've only gotten maybe half a dozen.
Yeah,
maybe. I don't think more than
do it like 3 times in a row. And I was just like, this freaking guy.
Yeah, I you know what is the first one's easy. It's the second one that I have trouble with.
That's the one I usually get, but that's just me panic matching. I'm like,
I like when you miss it. Like you can see Sam's like kicking at it and shit.
Yeah.
Or like she'll swing it and like you'll see like it won't do it. I'm like that's kind of
swing and a miss.
Damn, fuck them.
It's so good, man. Like, and like I liked the incorporation of like because you definitely feel like this fucking thing, you know,
right
when you're dealing with him. But I also like when you do die to them that it just starts you outside the door.
Instantly.
The checkpoints in this game I appreciate.
Yeah, they always start you right outside the door in case you like feel like you want to come back to this at some other point more prepared.
Yeah, modern sensibilities.
It makes them a little toothless after a while, but I understand why they did that.
Yeah, it's a modern gaming thing, man.
Like get too frustrated. You're like, hey, you're back at your save point now. I was like, nah, I hate these things now.
Yeah.
Especially considering that they instant kill you. Like,
right.
I remember when the SAX murdered me and I had to go back like 30 minutes to a save point. I was just like, oh my god.
Yeah.
You want to die? You're like, nope.
So I get it.
Yeah,
I honestly think it's a shame that kids don't get that.
No, it's fine. No, good. No, they shouldn't have to suffer. No,
this game is.
There's something to be said about the fact that we walk so they can run.
It's fine. Look, no, I'm not one of those people that wishes the hard shit, man. No. That like let them turn on hard mode and get wrecked because the damage is insane on hard mode. So like
this game is.
They want a challenge, and the game is not easy.
The game is hard.
Yeah,
I did appreciate that about this game. This game, like this, I died on bosses, man, like a few times. Like this is great. The last boss is fucking hard.
The last boss is hard until you learn him.
Yeah, you download the last
his pattern.
Yeah, that took me.
Well, his second part's the hardest.
It's like a freaking wet noodle. He does no damage. Like there's so many other bosses in the game that will murder you in 3 hits.
Yeah,
and like this guy can corner combo you and juggle you, and he has like energy draining. And it's like none of this stuff hurts.
Nah, the things hurts, man.
I don't know, man. I didn't have a lot of life tanks when I fought him, so
none of it hurt. None of it.
Yeah, that guy was hard.
His second form kicked my ass.
That's so
form is the hardest form to me.
His second form
is that where he's got the shown off glow? That one.
He's got the shown off glow for all of it.
Oh, yeah. He's flying. Okay.
Yeah, when he's flying and like the
you know what it was?
You do take the most damage in that phase.
Yeah, easily.
Once you learn, because I slide all the time. Like once you slide in that fight, like he doesn't touch you.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you know what I figured out is like when he's doing that, you just jump around in a circle around him and he can't hit you.
Yeah. That first form, I feel like sets the tone for that whole fight. That first form is hard.
Yeah, I didn't think the first one was that hard because I had gotten used to parrying bosses at that point, and his and Chozo's. I would argue that like some of the Chozo fights, like some of the like the Chozo soldier fights were harder.
Double one can be
the Robo Chozos are like the hardest fights.
The hardest ones, and they kicked my ass. The first one fucking destroyed me.
They have that stupid charge attack that like puts out a beam that like reaches the ceiling, and like I can't.
So hard.
You know what it was?
So hard to avoid.
Because I never used the storm missiles in that game.
Oh, yeah.
So once you use storm missiles, like you take them down instantly. But I was like, damn, how am I supposed to fight these guys? And I was like, oh,
yeah, I did everything hard. I found storm missiles very cumbersome to set up. So
I wish they did like maybe the Super Metroid way where you can. Well, you're using every button on this controller, so
Pretty
I don't know how they
much.
would have done it.
Yeah.
But
Better
like,
or worse.
yeah, maybe toggle the storm missiles. I don't know.
Maybe next time we'd all incorporate a grappling beam into our game because fuck that thing.
There's nothing wrong with it. You're just impatient.
It was fine. What's your problem with the grappling
I
beam?
don't like the grapple beam.
I was
Also,
fine.
half the time that you were hold on. Half the time Joe was struggling with the grapple beam, he didn't piece together that he could just phase shift.
Yeah.
Phase shift what?
Every time you needed the grapple beam, you could have just phase dashed through anything.
Okay.
Like there's only one part in the game where you actually need it because you don't have the phase shift yet.
Yeah. Well,
That's like maybe two of them.
My favorite power up, the phase shift.
Oh my god,
it's
yeah.
really good. I
It
think it's
literally turns
really,
into,
really,
it was
really
like,
good.
this is a character action game now. Wow. Like there was a moment in that game where it's like, yeah, this is Metroid. Like they're crossing their T's, dotting their I's, and then like around the middle mark, it turns into a completely different thing. I think it's once you get that phase shift, right?
You know, I think a lot of people forgot about the phase shift because I played this game pretty much exclusively on stream, and pretty much anybody who had played this, and I was really slow on the uptake for this game because I was behind a lot. People who had already finished it. They were watching me, and they're like, "I'm using this phase shift to dodge shit," and they're like, "I never really thought about using that thing."
Yeah,
like, how do you forget this? This thing's amazing.
It's an invulnerable dash. It's fucking like
it's not vulnerable.
Not invulnerable.
It has invincibility frames.
It definitely feels like you're invulnerable in the air when you do it.
Yeah.
I think it has iframes in there somewhere. I've definitely used it to dodge shit.
And it's very generous.
It fudges hitboxes in the air.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of like, say, in a vertical shmup or something, where your hitbox is really small, but it's still there.
Right.
Yeah. When you dodge in the air, it definitely is fudging your hitbox.
Yeah, that's what I felt because like there was a lot of times I would air dodge and I would just miss things and like things would.
But you can still get hit.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I mean, on the ground, I know that because I tried. I'm like, oh, that's not invulnerable at all. Okay, nope. That's fine. That would make this game extremely easy if it was. So that's fine. But yeah, I definitely appreciate the difficulty of this game, man. Like, I really, really liked it a lot.
You as a Mega Man fan, I figured would definitely enjoy it because these are Mega Man bosses.
Oh my god, yeah. Oh yeah,
100%.
I loved every boss fight. Like every boss fight, I really enjoyed. Like I had a fun time.
I hated that water one. Don't slow me down.
I was fine with it.
Don't slow me down, baby.
The thing is, it's so weak. It's so weak that once you know how to kill it, it's just you just Joe skipped a phase of it without even trying to.
Yeah. Okay, that's another thing I want to talk about. I love that like you can mash the shit in this game. Like every button press gets a shot.
Right.
So I imagine Joe must have been just murdering things because I know how fast that thumb is. So like that was definitely an appreciated thing. Makes I fucking like I'm playing on hard mode. I just I fought the Scorpion boss again. I murdered that thing so fast because I was just
you know him
mashing the shit out of it.
Yeah, I played a little bit on hard mode. I haven't really gotten back to it.
Yeah,
I'm kind of letting it breathe a little before I really go. But now that I know the mechanics of this game pretty well, I think I can handle it. I think I can handle a hard mode playthrough a lot better than I would have. That'd be able to handle my first playthrough of this game.
Because you're not learning anymore.
Yeah, the game is figured out. I know exactly what I'm doing. I know how to do everything. I'm comfortable with the controls. Finally, it took a bit for me to get there, but.
What about the controls? Did you have trouble with, Joe?
At first I felt uncomfortable with how things were assigned, and I wanted to swap things around a bit, and I was frustrated with the fact that there wasn't any control remapping in the game itself. I had to go into the Switch and do it. But
you end up doing that.
After a while, I started playing a little bit more, and my fingers wanted to do it the original way.
What did you want to change? What did you change?
I wanted to swap. I think it was the aiming and the missile assignment. Yep. Yeah,
that's exactly it.
Yeah,
likewise.
And as I went on, I found myself instinctively pressing the other one after I remapped it. So I just went back and did it. I'm like, okay, I think I can be comfortable with this now. But
Okay, that makes
still,
sense.
let me remap your controls natively in your game.
Yeah, that's a sin.
It's 2021, people.
That's a cardinal sin, I have to say.
It's
Like
a
even
Nintendo
even
thing. That's
Super
all.
even Super Metroid in 1994 lets you moonwalk optionally.
They do.
Sure.
Put your shoot button to the R button, which is the way to play that game.
No, it is not.
What?
I
That's
mean,
how I play that game.
look,
Not that.
it's really hard to run, jump, and shoot in that game because of the way the
Change the R button to run, you fucking weirdo. Like, what are you talking about?
how am I gonna aim up and downward? Whatever. There's no perfect way to remap Super Metroid.
No, there is
There's
not.
no perfect way to do it.
Yeah, it's almost like the game doesn't have enough buttons.
It really doesn't. Yeah, I didn't mind much of the control scheme in this game. I thought it was about as like I said, my only complaint was when I wanted to duck and shoot, it was a little troublesome sometimes.
I don't like charging up the Shine Spark.
I mean,
You know,
it seems like a holdover from the way you always did it. That's why.
Right.
Yeah.
And
I kind of wish it was like if you pressed the L or something.
Right, I was gonna say if it was the L button instead of down, I think that'd be better.
But
I
then
agree.
they put in all of these not Shine Spark, these speed boost puzzles that involve you having to dash through low blocks,
Mhm.
yeah.
to slide through low blocks. So it's just like, I guess it wouldn't have worked with their vision.
Yep.
Yeah.
But yeah, it can be finicky with the analog of left clicking to start speed boost and then moving analog from left or right to down.
Yeah. It's
Charge it.
Yeah.
you get used to it, but I didn't love it.
It didn't bother me. Maybe because I'm
you
just
know
so used to it
what?
from Metroid.
But there are plenty of times with D-pad that I miss charging Shine Spark. So
Right.
it just kind of like at first I was like, this isn't that great, but then I was just like, I could never get this on first try on Super Metroid.
Mm-hmm.
I'd just be like, run. Oh, I didn't charge it.
Yeah.
All I have to do is press down.
By the way, Shine Spark is your #1 sequence breaking tool.
Oh yeah,
Of course.
Isn't it always? I mean, come on.
Well, no.
Bombs.
Yeah.
Yeah, because so
All right, number two.
this is why I figured why it's the Shine Spark, because when the Shine Spark is a harder technique.
Mhm.
Infinite bomb jump is just, it's not hard.
It's very
Oh, right.
easy to get that rhythm.
And
Yep.
especially in this game, I find that it's easier in this game than ever.
Yeah,
So I
oh,
think,
It's like AM2R easy. It was really
Mhm.
easy in AM2R.
I think
as well.
what they did here was they said, hey, look, we're designing this
know
game,
about this.
and this is it's just you don't earn it with the bomb jump. So we're not going to put anything really major behind it. Maybe you get like a couple of missiles early.
Yeah.
There's a one devious one that allows you to get the space jump early.
Mhm.
With if you're good at bomb jumping, you can get the space jump early. But
I know which one you're talking about. Yeah.
other than that, they take it away from it because infinite bomb jump is just, I don't know, it's not sexy. It's not exciting. It's like
Boosted.
No, you know what's really sexy? Infinite bomb jumping with the cross bombs.
that's pretty good.
That's sexy.
That is pretty good.
That must be fun to do.
It is, and it's not harder at all.
I can imagine. Like some of those puzzles really teach you how to like time the
Right.
the bomb jump. Like there's this one puzzle that you have to. It's a speed boost puzzle, but you also have to do charge bombs, not full power bombs. Charge bomb, and then immediately fucking. You know which one I'm talking about, Theo.
Stuck on
So
for
you
a
think.
long time.
That's one of the
But
hardest ones in the game.
But you don't.
You're right.
So what you would do is you
Mhm.
would get to your speed, but not charge a shine spark, wall jump to that section, and slide through the blocks. And you would just go all the way to the end, and then you can
Yeah.
charge your shine spark.
Yeah.
And
Interesting.
easily just go back.
Honestly, I had to
Yeah.
watch that one. I was like, this is.
I did it the
don't
hard
figure
way.
this shit out.
I did it the hard way too.
I did the hard way. I know about that bullshit. That's nice to know.
Then I definitely did it the hard way too, because I
that's-
didn't know you could slide during a speed.
You can slide during speed boost. Yeah, once
I
you
did
figure out
do
you
that.
can slide during speed boost.
I didn't realize you could cancel, like if you shoot in the air, you could cancel your
Spin jump.
spin jump to shine spark across a room. This game, this fucking game.
Amazing, just so good. Just so
or
good.
basically
Although,
just do anything. Like you could aim
Right.
to cancel almost anything you do cancels your spin jumps. So
Oh, the aim.
yeah,
I didn't realize that. Huh. Okay.
shoot's the easiest one because it's literally right there next to the jump button.
Right.
So you can just press
to the point
shoot
where
and
like
jump at the same time.
B plus Y will activate your shine spark in the air. Pretty much.
Yeah, you don't even have to shoot first. You can just press them at the same time.
just like slide it. You just piano it. Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Plink it.
Plink that shit, baby.
You don't even have to blink it. You literally could just simultaneous press and it works. You don't have to get all fight fancy.
Talking about gameplay in a Metro game, I love it. I love it.
It's so good. Like this it's my favorite one, man.
So
Real
Chris
talk.
You mentioned that you really love the bosses, and this and also Samus Returns definitely a series deviation of how they handle bosses, because pretty much all the bosses beforehand was just blow them up. Like, don't try to be tactical about it.
Right.
Just
Beat the shit out of it before it kills you.
Except maybe Nightmare Infusion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nightmare was kind of a different boss.
That was to the rule.
Nightmare is a next level boss, though.
Yeah.
Like, I think that might be the best Metroid boss ever made.
It's really good.
Yeah, it's really good.
All right, Metroid.
It's really good.
I think Metroid Queen is actually up there. I really like that.
I agree with you, too. I love the Metroid Queen fight.
Yeah. But
original Metroid?
No, Metroid 2.
Samus Returns.
Samus Returns, okay.
Yeah. Man,
Return of Samus.
Yeah. Nightmare is a top-tier Metroid boss.
Yeah, it's really good.
I remember really good. Stuck on that bus for a very long time.
Yeah. Not easy. Like it's the whole horror aspect of it. Like its face is melting as the fight goes on, and you're like really restricted because the thing is like gravity just pushing down.
That is the gravity part. I guess.
It's so
he's
good.
really big, and you don't have any space to maneuver.
And he's horrifying and like almost eldritch in a way.
Is that the one where we shoot your missiles? The missiles bounce off. Well, like
they just like fall down because they
fall down. They don't work.
Oh, that's so good. Great boss.
Amazing.
But
Absolutely.
Other than that, like the series, I never think about the series bosses, other than like maybe the last boss. But this game, like I was excited to fight every boss. Like they whooped my ass at first, and then I'm like, all right, there's no way I could beat that boss until 6 tries later. I was like, yeah, all right, he didn't even touch me.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, there's that satisfaction that every boss, like, once you figure out its pattern, you're like, you just fucking destroy it. Like, I even did it with like the last boss too. Like, even though he was kicking my ass for a while, once I got to like that last part, I was like, all right, I got your ass. Fuck this guy. And like, he barely touched me when I finally beat him, and it was so fucking satisfying.
That's how you know you're ready for hard mode.
My biggest complaint about that boss is, well, I have several complaints about the final boss of this game. It feels kind of like, it feels almost anticlimactic. Like, I know the whole game is kind of leading to this confrontation, but it just doesn't have the I just don't feel the tension I had from any previous Metroid final boss. Like when you play a Metroid game, like Super Metroid had the like Mother Brain, which grows into this giant cyborg monstrosity, and she's like high pitched screeching at you, and that music is terrifying. You're like, okay, this is huge, right? And then you get to the like the sense of tension isn't there, like, or you go with the Queen Metroid and Metroid 2, and that like squeaky music is playing, and this giant snake-like alligator thing is like snapping at you, and it's humongous, and it's like the tension just isn't there with this fight.
I feel like once you recontextualize it as if, because remember, I guess we're gonna get to the plot twist. The minute you come on that planet and you black out, Raven was Adam the entire time.
Yeah.
So when you replay the game, knowing that Raven was talking to you, like, "Fuck, man, you'll never beat this Raven guy." Right? Like, he is like Mondo cool. Like you're getting powerful, but not that powerful. And then, like,
accept your helplessness.
Samus, accept your helplessness. It's like, I was suspicious of Adam playing that through the game. I'm like, yo, what the fuck is going on here? Like, he keeps like talking up this asshole. Fuck this guy.
Yeah,
he also never calls you lady.
I was about to say he never calls you lady the entire time. Like they make it
first
they
two
make it
times.
very, very clear when you're in the ship. Is everything clear, lady?
Mm-hmm.
And like, okay, that's right. That's Adam. That's what Adam does. Like she mentioned there was exposition about that, how we always called her lady, blah 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 blah. And then you get to the planet, never again.
Yeah, and you're like, wait, what is going on?
And I'm like, how come he's not calling me lady?
And why is he hyping up this guy that we just met a while ago?
Like this guy,
bro. Like I lost it when you like said Adam is called like him Mondo cool. I lost my.
Jesus Christ! Like I definitely I like the plot of this game. I like the simplicity of it, and I really like where it goes. And it does that thing where it does set up some interesting things that can happen in a sequel too. Much in the way that Fusion did forever ago. Which
like when we'll play Metroid 6 when we're in our 60s, so
hey.
Here's some 19 years.
Hopefully this game sells enough that Nintendo's like, oh yeah, people do like this shit.
It's already the best selling 2D Metroid.
Of course it is. I mean, that's not a high bar to clear though, man.
Yeah. It's really not.
It's really not like, I mean, it's like, it's the best selling ones. Yeah, but like, what is that? What does that mean? Like, is that good? Because that
means a good game came out on a system that everybody has in their household.
It doesn't hurt that it's on the Switch. That's true.
Yeah,
that is very true. I hope it just continues in this game's favor because I would like another one. That'd be cool. I'm not saying I need it tomorrow,
I definitely want more Metroid.
I want more Metroid.
More Metroid, and especially
I want more 2D Metroid.
Like this game was such a welcome thing to get after Axiom Verge 2 like really, really soured me and disappointed me. I thought that game was not good.
Yeah, I remember I dropped it. I haven't played it in a while.
Yeah, it's
like I dropped everything for the Castlevania collection. Yeah, honestly,
you know what made Axiom Verge 2 better for me?
What's that?
Was turning down the enemy damage and turning up the player damage so I can just ignore combat entirely. Because that's how the game was designed.
Pretty much, it's like a big problem with that game. That it's just that there's all this stuff around and you just can't interact with it in a meaningful way.
Yeah,
not really. Like what really got me about Axiom Verge 2 is I really appreciated the story and the both subtle and overt ways in which it connected to the overall story. So I guess we can talk about this some other time. But like I'm comparing Axiom Verge 2, which is like a sequel to what was my favorite Metroid-like game of the last decade, to Metroid Dread, which was a game I didn't even know was coming out this year. I'm like, all right, this is the Metroid game is way better.
Yeah, it was.
Gee, imagine that.
Yeah. I know. It really.
It could have failed.
It could have.
God, I love it when I don't know if a game's coming out and then it drops and it's amazing.
Yeah.
Like seriously, it's my favorite thing in the world now, man. I want all games to come out like that now. I really do.
Well, most games I play, I just discover. I don't even know we're in existence to begin with.
Right.
Like I feel like every time I'm anticipating something or if I'm hoping something will be good and like I'll drop $60 on it and I'm like, this isn't great. Like I've had that happen way too often to me recently. To the point where I'm just like I don't even want to spend money on AAA games anymore for that reason. I didn't realize that Tetris Effect Connected had come out, and I was like, "Oh shit, it's up on the Switch! Yay!" I'd completely forgotten that it was out, and I bought it like yesterday. So I'm like, "Okay, this is great. I love everything about this." It runs great, by the way. Thankfully, there's no like frame drops on it. Like there's a slight frame drop during stage transitions in journey mode, but it does not disrupt gameplay at all. So. I'll just play it on my 3070. It's fine.
Yeah, it'll be fine. So I don't give a fuck. I'll play it laying in bed. Like Tetris was meant to be played.
Same
on a handheld.
Then explain why NES Tetris is better.
It is. It is. I'm not going to pretend it isn't. But
music letter C. That's why.
Damn fucking straight. And Music C in the Game Boy version is awful.
It's not. It's not awful.
Well, it's not Music C from the NES.
Yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, this game. This is actually currently my game of the year.
I am
right now so far.
Yeah, I think I'm right there with you.
Yeah,
I still play Shin Megami Tensei 5, but most likely it's fight. I like SMT a lot.
Yeah, I know. Dre is not impressed. Yeah, this game, man. We want to talk about that ending.
I mean, I guess
we gotta talk about the ending.
We found out why Metroid can't crawl. Because she's too busy sliding and rolling all over the place. Because Samus is obviously a Metroid now. Duh.
Yeah, obviously they made her a Metroid.
I laughed out loud when Ravenbeak was like, "Daughter," and I'm like, "All right, what are we doing?"
Anime as fuck.
And I know he meant daughter in the sense that like she has his DNA and stuff. But I was like, all right, this is
anime as fuck.
It's so anime and stupid.
Fuck you, Bird Dad.
I love it.
I'm partying with the Metroids now. He's my boyfriend, and he's cool.
My favorite part of the ending is after you beat Raisin Bran over here, and he put you in the beginning of the game choke, and you're just like, oh, I can't get out of here. So instead of firing my gun at him, I'm just going to just bash him with my gun. Like, please get off me.
Samus, what are you doing? Like, what's going on here?
Like, man, she's so desperate. Why doesn't she just fire?
Well, she couldn't. Well, then she couldn't turn Metroid Super Saiyan. That's why.
Like they prefaced it in the fight that firing shots against him won't work.
Yeah.
I mean, it worked fine for most of the fight.
He had the glow.
He had the glow. Like Shonuff had to ask Bruce Lee where the master was.
Bullets with his teeth.
Space Cadet flow.
Chozo, please. Come on. You're welcome, Drew.
And then that guttural scream she has when she's like,
good.
I love the way when it cut to like the space station, and she's like, ah!
Oh, that shit is so good. You know, I love that this isn't picking up Joe at all.
No, it isn't picking me up either.
Still not.
Okay, fine, whatever.
I don't know why I didn't pick up your scream, but I guess the viewers will probably be thankful. Sure.
Well,
I think it'll pick up on OBS, just not on Discord.
Right.
Yeah,
dude, that was
into a full blown Metroid.
Oh,
that
armor!
I hated how she looked.
Metroid, it's definitely a Metroid hybrid kind of thing.
You could go into the pause screen during that menu during the escape scene. You can go to the pause menu and you can read up on the Metroid suit.
Oh, I didn't do that. That's good to know.
And you can also read up on her blaster, which is the hyper beam.
Oh, that was a good call.
So hype, man! Come on.
There's one particular callback I want to bring up was when you're about to fight Ravenbeak and there are cylinder like tubes, and you have to power bomb it to go to his castle, his Sky Fortress or whatever. I was like,
castle.
Yeah, all right, yeah.
I was
like,
Zebetite. It was a callback to the Zebetites.
Yeah. I thought that was a really cool Super Metroid callback. I was like, yeah. Because that took me forever to figure out in Super Metroid.
Oh, the power bomb.
Meridian power. Like, as soon as I went through the glass tunnel in that game, I'm like, this is unique, and I don't see it anywhere else in the game. I'm like, I may be able to do something with this.
Yeah.
You were a smarter kid than me.
I thought the same thing, too. So.
I
didn't.
It was one of the only clues I ever got in that game, so I gotta pat myself on the back.
There's also like it also ties in with like there's like it's a different part of the map, like so, and there's like places to go above and below it. Like that's what I mean. But like you have a ceiling above you in this game, and like Super Metroid, you walk through that thing, and like you're going through this glass tube, and there's nothing above you and there's nothing below you. It's like, okay, maybe I can blow this thing up and go above and below this.
Again, smarter kid. Super clever, like I said, but never figured it out. I mean,
it never occurred to me either. Somebody
Yeah.
told me.
Okay.
I don't remember who told me.
yeah, I think I looked it up. I don't remember how I got it.
I also appreciate how this game lets you know if there's a hidden thing in that area, like the flashing points on the map. I'm sure Joe hated it, but I appreciated it.
I mean, it's no different than any other map Metroid game marking the room with a circle or something.
Yeah. I'm not offended by it.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And
I'll tell you one
letting you
thing.
know which, like, if you found the thing, it would just mark it on the map for you automatically. Like
That I like.
Yeah.
Acquired.
flashing
Yeah.
makes it at least very easy for you to go back and be like, oh, I need to find something in this area.
it's just saving me a trip to GameFAQs, man.
What I really like
Seriously.
about the flashing is that it routinely covers more than a single room.
Yes.
Right. That is
Yes.
that is good.
So like this
It's like, is it in
flashing
this
square
section?
could it be like between 2, 3, or even 4 rooms.
Right.
Have you guys ever tried the waypoint system in this game?
You talking about the teleportation?
The markings?
Oh yeah, no, I saw it's there. I didn't really use it.
I used it.
it's
I used it a
good.
couple of times. Didn't really make that much good use out of it, but yeah,
Okay.
I used it.
I used to, yeah.
I feel like the map is very good about letting you know when something's there for you to go back to for the most part. So
I basically used it in cleanup.
Right.
When I was like,
same.
I found the power bombs. I'm like, there is absolutely nothing else I feel like I can get in this game, so I'm gonna go and start looking for stuff. And that's
what I did too. Yeah.
I think the best power up in this game is when you unlock all the teleportals and you could just teleport to anywhere. I'm like, I didn't know that was a thing.
Wait,
This is
really?
cool.
Yeah. Did you not know
Once
this?
you
Yeah.
go- Well, once you go to floating castle in the sky,
Yeah.
if you go back after that point and then try to use a teleportal, it'd be like all teleportals are linked.
Oh,
Yeah.
neat.
Yeah, I did that after I had beaten the game and I won 100% everything.
Hey.
Oh, I thought because I guess coincidentally enough, I found the last one. So I thought because I found the last one, it just linked everything.
Yeah, no, it's just,
Okay. But yeah,
triggers when you go up to the
okay.
Raisin Bran.
Yo, I love his suit, man. He looks so cool.
Yeah, I feel like they could have given him another 2 abs. I don't think he had enough abs.
You not enough abs for you?
Abs?
He needed a 12-pack abs.
You
I was
need
kinda
you think
disappointed.
like Tony needs to look at this guy in envy? Is that what you need?
You know who's you know one of our high school buddies is friends with Tony Nese.
Really?
Yeah,
Is it
one
hold
of
on.
our Long Island buddies.
Trying to think about who that could be.
Yeah,
Oh,
Mr.
oh,
Hempstead, Long Island. himself.
Okay, all right. That's now I know exactly who you're talking about. All right, got it.
Yeah, but no, there are a lot of aspects about this game that I really enjoyed, and as I was playing it, I was just really solidifying that this is probably like definitely a top 3 Metroid game.
I guess I was going to ask you guys the rankings.
It definitely grew on me. I did not like it at first, but as I played it, like it opened up more. The more stuff I got, the more I liked. As I was able to do different things with the equipment. Then the game started to open up, but it starts off very restrictive, and I didn't really care for that.
The initial like 4 hours of this game is very linear.
Yeah,
it's extremely.
I was getting really discouraged with it, but then
you don't get a lot of power-ups during that time.
No, you don't.
Where like you're not getting any power-ups, and then you're like, hey, you got the space jump, now you got the screw attack. It's like, wait,
no,
like,
once I got bombs, I'm like, okay, now we can play Metroid.
No, and I think that was actually, I think this game is paced extremely well because of that. Because it kind of sets you to be like, all right, we're gonna hold your hand a little bit, but like once you get to a certain point, go have fun, like, and you get the right item to go have fun with, which is the bombs, and like that is, I remember when I got the bombs, so I'm like, all right, this game really opened up now, and I feel like this game isn't completely pushing me to go in every single, like, the same direction all the time, but like there's just still enough of it that it's like because it rewards you for going in the right direction a lot too.
Yes.
And I feel like that's something that maybe some of the older Metroid games weren't always great about. Like there was always like a power up for me to like, oh cool, like hey look, here's this energy tank. Make sure you go get that because it's right where you need to be going anyway.
You're also changing locales like constantly.
Yes, yes.
Like you got to Garavan, the grassy area.
For the life of me, I can't remember the names of these places. They're just
It's actually go through like A B C is
Yeah, A B C D E F G H
Yeah.
I.
Yeah. When I finally got there, I was like, "There's another location in this game. Holy shit! Like, how many does this place have?"
Yeah, it didn't all just feel like a spaceship, which was cool.
Right.
You know, it feels like that a little bit at first, but like the more areas you open up and like the environments feel more diverse and like, you know, I really also like a thing I really like. I really like Samus's suit designs in this game.
I love the white.
Oh, the white looks
Original?
amazing.
Yeah, it looks really good.
I think her Varia suit is top notch in this game.
Yeah.
Like probably the best Varia suit.
The white, man, it works. It works. You know,
I
and
love the gravity in this. I love the shoulder pads on the gravity, like
blue.
the spiky circles, but like the design itself, I think maybe it's the color.
It's too many colors at that point because you have the purple, then you have the red, then you have the white.
See the little
and
hints of the
like
blue.
The green energy.
Right.
Yeah.
I like
too much.
How just it is, but like it's like okay.
But the Varia suit, you just got
perfect.
You just got the gold, and it goes with the red, and
yeah,
the gold
it's good.
goes
It's
with
good.
the white, and it's just
real good.
Beautiful.
Yeah, chef's kiss on that, big time. Yeah, I agree. Really, really awesome design. And yeah, man, fuck.
So, I'm sorry.
Oh, go ahead, Dre. Go ahead.
Earlier it was like Joe was saying that he was really down on the game, so I actually have to apologize to him because at one point he's playing this game on stream and he's bitching so much that I'm just like, he's pissing me off. And I basically was like, I made the decision to like ruin his, first playthrough experience so that he can hopefully see that it's not as heavy-handed in guiding you as he thought it was. So it's not something that I really wanted to do, but I was just like, man, this guy, he's just never going to see it because he's just so mad about it right now. And I was just like, dude, there's 2 sequence breaks right here.
Oh,
there's 2. Go and find them. Look for them. So now he has an elevator that he now loves.
That was great, by the way. That whole thing.
Did you beat the game by that point?
No.
Dre? No.
Dre.
Yes,
okay.
Okay.
I think Dre was the first one to finish this.
By the time he played it, I had already finished the game 3 times.
Easily.
I did my normal playthrough, which took me about in-game time 11 hours 30 minutes.
Yeah, that was mine too.
Yeah, I was about like 12 and change, I think.
In-game time doesn't record deaths and such like that.
So I think the update just came out that now records deaths.
Oh,
it doesn't.
Neat.
It does not.
It doesn't.
No.
Oh, still doesn't. Oh, okay.
No, it does not. It's fine. It whatever your in-game time is doesn't even really matter.
It doesn't matter.
Like, nobody really cares.
You want to go see Samus in a bikini? There's plenty of ways to do that now.
Facts.
In fact, you go even further if you're really ambitious enough.
Second time, I went through hard mode, also 100% in about 7 hours in game time. So I was just like, yeah, okay, cool. So now, after I finish hard mode, I'm like, yeah, I can do this under 4 hours to get all the gallery unlocks. So then I did normal under 4 hours, and then while I was watching Joe, I was doing hard under 4 hours.
Nice.
Okay.
So I finished all of it. I have all my gallery unlocks.
That's happy. Awesome. That's cool. I like the gallery art. It's very pretty. I love it anytime they throw gallery art into any game. It always makes me happy. So yeah,
I guess my one critique on this game is the music is okay.
Oh yeah,
yes,
that is the weakest part of the game. Absolutely,
it works while you're playing the game.
Yes.
I actually think it's a little underrated because it's not as good as Super Metroid or Fusion.
Prime had amazing music.
Or Prime, yeah. Obviously,
Prime
Prime had
soundtrack
great
is
music.
pretty top tier.
Yeah,
but like those 3 games are standout in the in the entire series, and I don't know. I don't think we're ever really going to get another game or games that have soundtracks as good as those in the series. But like some of these songs are low key good. But
Yes,
the way the game presents them to you, it kind of just drowned out.
yeah.
I was listening to
They're understated.
yes.
a Super Metroid sound font version of the Ferenia song, and I was just like, "Oh man, this is really good."
Rania is the ice level.
Well, the question mark.
Yeah.
No, Ferenia is like one of the temple looking areas.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Like, I feel like the presentation of the music itself is not amazing. Like, I mean, they start off right.
Yes.
You know, they start off proper, and I'm like,
that song.
But like, I don't know, man. Somebody could fuck that up. I'm just saying. And like, if you start off right with me, I'm like, okay.
That scene where Quiet Robe is like, I'll unlock this area for you, and it just goes into the map and it's playing Samus theme. I'm like, yeah, this is real good.
Whenever that music drops, they do it right, and like, it's not. I definitely like it's never outright bad or terrible, but I definitely feel like a lot of it is understated. And
I didn't feel the music in this.
Right.
Yeah,
I didn't feel it.
Even Samus Returns, their other Mercury Steam's other game had a really good soundtrack. So
it was good. Yeah,
it's kind of like, I don't know, like something that I have to say they kind of did miss on, but the actual composition of the tracks are good. I don't know.
Yeah, again, it might just be the instrumentation.
I think it's probably just a presentation. Like, the game looks really good.
Yeah,
like they're I forgot when you go into one of the Chozo temples, and when you're walking, it pans the camera out like into like a kind of like a 3-dimensional, right? And I'm like, wow, this is I don't know, I'm not even listening to music at this point. I'm just like watching everything that's going on. And so I think that kind of takes away from it a little bit.
You guys are not giving enough credit to the Metroid 2 blip bloop music. Very avant-garde.
I think we've actually already spoken about this on our
Metroid anniversary cast.
Sure we have,
but
we talk about how much you like the bleeps and bloops.
The bleeps and bloops are not actually music, but they are, but they're not, because there's no discernible loop.
Nope.
Yeah.
There's certain parts of this game that, like, I do feel like the music is okay. Like, one part, I really like the Emmy chase theme. Like, when and when it works, the Emmy chase theme works really well. I feel in the last couple encounters when you really got to fucking figure out a spot to fucking murk these things in,
right?
You know, which
it kept bringing me back to what this series was like, basically brought up for Alien. Like, once I'm in the Emmy room and I hear that music, I'm like, I just feel like Alien right now.
Yeah,
like
the haze,
and the sound design of this game is excellent. Mm-hmm. Like, the Emmy's noises are like
distinctive.
I would say they're very distinct. I wouldn't say they're outright scary, but they make you uneasy.
Yes,
you know, you're like, you hear
it's uncomfortable.
Yeah, you're uncomfortable while these things are fucking hunting you. Like, when you're hiding in the corner cloaked and it's staring right at you.
Yeah.
You know, and it's kind of been looking for like, and like you can kind of like, it's sound effects where it's like bloop, 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 you know, like fucking weird, and it's great. And then it sounds like otherworldly.
Bumps into you accidentally anyway.
Oh, asshole. So I gotta be mothballed in like some corner.
Like, you spend the entire time climbing on the ceiling, and just when I'm on the floor this one time, like
shouldn't have landed. It wouldn't have hurt you.
It's true. So good.
I will say that my biggest issue of the game was, and this, this is built entirely on my own expectations. Mm-hmm. I'm playing through this, and all of the Emmys have their own Emmy zone. Yes. And at some point, I was just kind of expecting an Emmy to kind of break out of its zone and just like be able to chase you through the map or through a map, some location.
Well, the red Emmy was that at the end, but Samus just murked it before I got a chance to do that.
Well, but that was an Emmy zone too.
Yeah, I know. I actually was wanted to ask you guys, would you guys like a DLC or maybe extra hard mode where the Emmys are just roaming across the whole map?
I wouldn't mind. I don't think I'd mind that. Like a little.
Not
like,
if. You go, Joe. Sorry.
No zone. Just
yeah,
across the map.
I wouldn't mind having some. I love out of the box difficulty adjustments like that.
Mm-mm.
You know, like extra damage is like okay, whatever, sure. But like when things change up, so they have to change your tactics. Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, I agree.
Like hard mode isn't really. So there's like good hard modes and bad hard modes, right? So a lot of hard modes are bad. Breath of the Wild has an atrocious hard mode.
One of the worst of all time.
And it's like you take a game where resources are scarce and you basically increase all of the enemies' HP and you give them regen. So it's just like it's terrible.
I'm not gonna fight anybody.
Yeah,
it's dumb.
Yes. I'm not somebody who's completely harsh on Breath of the Wild's like durability system because I understand what they're trying to do with it. I'm not saying it's the best thing that they've ever done, but it's like I understand what they're trying to do with it.
You know why it's there.
It didn't bother me. But when I played hard mode of that, I was just like, this is not fun.
Nope.
This is not fun at all.
Yeah.
And I think one of the worst things you can do in hard mode is just make things tankier. And I am glad that in this game they didn't change any enemy HP.
Nope.
Nothing is tankier in hard mode.
No.
They just do more damage to you.
Everything just does a lot more damage.
And this hard mode is
like a significant amount of damage.
Yes. So this game's hard mode
fragile in hard mode.
Just be perfect. That's what the hard mode of this game is demanding of you. It's just perfection.
Yeah.
And honestly, when you beat the game, you kind of have it, unless you were like shin along in the first and when you play normal mode.
I would love this game to have a boss rush.
It would be pretty good, especially.
I agree. Yeah.
Considering the just what the bosses are asking of you at all times.
Yeah.
Yes.
A boss rush mode for this would be good.
I would.
There's
some real out of the way methods for killing these bosses.
Right.
I would love it if I could just go back and like experiment with that.
Mm-hmm.
And it'd be real a handy tool for the speedrunning community.
There are so many bosses that you can shine spark.
Yeah.
But you would never figure it out because there's just not a lot of space in the boss room itself.
Yeah.
Right.
But you can like charge a shine spark outside of a lot of encounters. Like most of the Robo Chozos, you can shine spark.
Okay.
That's good.
In fact, that very first one that was like really brutal.
Mm-hmm.
In the Quiet Robe arena, if you coax him to the top of the arena, you can charge a shine spark at the bottom. And blast him for half his health. So it just takes two.
That's the way to do it. Killing things with shine spark is the best.
Yeah, that sounds fun.
It always was. Good in this
always
game.
Was and still is.
When she books it in, like the thrusters on her back is just like going. I'm like, yeah, this looks incredible. There was just some moves I was just going back and forth, just looking at the animation.
Yeah, I've done that.
Definitely.
Yeah, the fact that I started a new game immediately or like not long after I beat the game. I don't do that with Metroid games often. I usually beat it and I'm like, all right, cool, that was awesome. I love this game. This is great. I started a new one immediately. I was like, oh fuck, I want to do that again. That was so much fun.
Yeah. I will say that if you're looking to see some Samus skin from finishing quick times, you're not getting any of that.
No.
There's no Samus skin.
Damn.
That's why I don't care about that.
Yeah.
So.
I mean,
I don't care about that. Look, dude, they gave her hips now. Like, I don't know what's going on, but like, I'm watching her walk. I'm like,
every time she runs the elevator, I'm like, all right.
Like, they gave her hips like now, and I'm like, it's whatever, sure. She's still like covered up. It's fine, but like, I just noticed I'm kind of like, they're reminding you she's a girl a little bit more.
It could be prudish, but like, I mean, It's kind of tradition. That's the only.
It's fine. Look. If She's not running around naked. It's fun. Whatever.
I mean, I'm sure there are ways for that. Like I said,
I'm sure, but
you're
like,
ambitious enough. Have at it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All you get is gallery unlocks. So
That's fun.
cool.
That's fun.
fine. The art is cool.
I like design art. Design art's cool. That works for me. I don't know if I'm going to do the under 4 hours, but I'm definitely going to do a hard mode playthrough. I've never beaten a Metroid game under 4 hours like that.
Same.
So.
This one is
I feel like I could do it on this one though. I feel like it's plausible for me on this one.
So this goes back to what I was saying about the bosses and like Super Metroid and such. Your most effective way of beating most of the bosses is just to brute force them.
Yeah.
It's just like, don't care about how much damage you take. Just fire off as many missiles as fast as you can.
Yeah.
Just blow them up.
Yeah. It's the Metroid way.
This game, since all the bosses do so much damage, you don't want to take any damage like at all, which kind of forces you to just kind of become better at fighting the bosses, which means that you feel like you're also able to fight the bosses with less equipment.
Right.
So when I finished the game, I had under 4 hours, I had like 38% item collection. And I don't think I've had item collection that low in any Metroid game outside of Zero Mission, which I seriously was like trying to be a speedrunner of before the whole like speedrunning thing was taken off, because I was trying to beat that game under 1 hour.
Yeah.
Including the epilogue?
Yes. I was very close. I had my best was like 106.
Ooh.
Wow.
Yeah, Dre played the shit out of that game, dude.
Shit. Because that epilogue is kind of a slog.
Nah, it's fine. When you know what to do, it's
I bet.
perfectly easy.
Because I played before Dread came out, I played through all the Metroid games again.
Nice. I should have done that.
Like,
Which version of Metroid 2 did you play?
the right one.
AM2R?
I actually never played M2R.
Really?
Never played it.
It's good.
It's good.
It's really
I know. Yeah.
It's very
I'm gonna-
traditionalist Metroid.
Yeah, in like the best way.
Yeah.
I actually do like Samus Returns better than it, but I do like that game.
Yeah.
I think AM2R is a very good game.
I'm with you.
I need to play Samus Returns, actually. I haven't played Samus Returns yet, so... I mean, that would require me to turn on my DS, so I don't know if that's happening.
Samus Returns was kind of a really weird game because I kind of Mandela affected it to before the Switch came out.
Mm-hmm.
And
oh my god, that came out after the Switch. You're right.
Yeah.
The Switch. So I think it was Phantom Ryu, Dylan, was playing it, and he was just like, this game could have been on the Switch. And I was like, but it came out before the Switch. And he's like, no, it didn't. I'm like, what?
Wait, what? I think that's...
This game
I'm
came
trying to
out
remember, like...
months after the Switch came out.
I think we had a discussion about that.
We did.
Yeah,
we definitely did.
But definitely what happened with this was Nintendo was testing them. That's what I think with Samus Returns. They were like, hey, we're going to give you this game. You're not putting it on the Switch. You're going to put it on the 3DS.
First, we saw that you guys did Mirrors of Fate, and we almost didn't go with you guys because it's a bad game. But we'll give you a chance.
So you take this game and you make of it what you need to make of it, and if it's good, then we'll do a Switch game later. And I think they passed the test on it, and they passed the test on the Switch game too.
Clearly.
But one thing I will say is that it's kind of hard to watch Samus Returns on that DS with 30 frames per second. And
I loaded when I was playing through it. I was like, oh my god, this fucking game, man.
Can they port it? Do you think they can? Is it portable?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like,
yeah,
is it like,
it's portable. It's on the DS.
Shut the fuck up, Joe. God. I gave you that softball. That's my fault.
There's all these touchscreen functions, but the thing is that all the touchscreen functions can just be button mapped at this point.
Yeah.
It was nice. You could just tap the screen to morph ball.
It was very nice.
But now you have L2 for that.
Yep. Okay, I was just curious.
I didn't like what they did by making the ice beam its own separate thing in that game. Like if you press I like that it's like you can turn it on and off, but I don't like that it doesn't take any of your other upgrades. So when you use ice beam, it's just straight up like
it's not wave ice beam.
It's just pellet shot ice beam,
right?
Instead of like wave wide ice beam.
I like that the super missiles are just an evolution from the regular missiles.
Yeah, that felt good.
I'm like, yeah, I don't want to fucking use regular missiles anymore.
Yeah, they're like, why would you? Like, we're not even going to give you the option. Just that was a great streamlined design.
Yeah, I'm totally fine with that.
Yeah, again, that's another thing. This game really just like it eliminated a lot of the noise and not in a way that ever took away from the experience.
Mm-hmm.
Of like the things that I've always loved about Metroid games. So like I really, God, this game was so fucking tight and amazing.
And also because this is such a sacred franchise that a lot of developers would feel scared to forge their own way, and I feel like they did their own thing and was like, yeah, this is our Metroid formula.
Like maybe you say it's sacred, but I don't think Nintendo holds it sacred. They are certainly willing to just shuffle this off to other people who may hold it sacred.
Well, I mean, like, but they didn't. But they weren't like it wasn't like slavishly loyal. Again, like talking about the morph ball thing, like that's wild that they did that.
Yeah,
like
the counter button. I playing through the older Metroids, I was like, fuck, there's no counter button in this game.
I can't believe that I never realized how much I wanted a counter button.
I always knew that because I did not like playing Metroid. Like the shooting in it isn't the fun part for that game.
Yeah, it's all about the movement.
Right.
Yeah. That they actually made like the shooting.
Once something is in your face in the old Metroids, you're like, I'm tanking this hit.
Yeah. And now you can counter that shit.
Another sacred cow type of thing, not as ridiculous as putting the morph ball as like your fourth upgrade or anything like that. Mm-hmm. But the wave beam being the second to last thing you get.
Yeah.
And it's just like, why was this so early in the other games? This is actually like the strongest beam in terms of
you shoot the walls.
Yeah, it's nuts. Like it's insane how good it is.
I actually really like their solution to it, where they gave you that the cluster bomb. Like that's smart.
Yeah.
Like you don't want to wave beam early in the game. It's like, yeah, I'm just gonna shoot above me. Like shoot the walls now.
Yeah.
I like that they've taken it and just kind of put their own stamp on it. And, they didn't feel like they had to do certain things because like you didn't have to start Metroid with bomb, morph ball, missiles as your first things.
Right.
At least, you got to keep your missiles. So you didn't have to just like find your first missile expansion.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
And they just didn't want to give you those bombs first.
They give you so much fucking missiles in this game.
They give you so run out.
No, you don't.
I've several times I have run out of missiles. Yes.
I only run out during boss fights.
Yeah, boss fights.
But it's like Chris says, I mashed that button real fast, and before I know it, I'm like, oh, I've used 90. Okay.
Yeah.
And you hit 4 of them.
Yeah, right.
I gotta say, it's such a small gameplay thing, but like I really love that tactile feel of like every shot for a button tap.
Mm-hmm.
And there doesn't seem to be like a limitation on how fast Samus can fire. It's really fucking
cool. I have a turbo controller for the Switch, like turbo Joy-Cons. Well, it's the Hori Joy-Cons. And I was like, let me see how fast this thing can just fire. It's a fucking stream. It's just,
that's beautiful.
That's delightful. I love it.
Beautiful.
Yes.
I love everything about that.
Yes.
I mean, you're watching some of these speedrunners now, and most speedrunners are known for good mash.
You have to. It's part of the game, man. Come on.
Yeah. You melt the Chozo soldiers because they're not like strong against beam. So you just mash them down, and it's just amazing how fast it is. Yeah. And while missiles do so much more damage, it's just like they're so much slower. You just mash, and they just die.
I love it. I fucking love it. I love everything about it.
Yeah.
Oh man,
fantastic game.
Yeah, incredible. Like
I knew it was gonna be good, but I wasn't expecting.
I didn't expect to become my new favorite Metroid.
There are a few games on the Switch where I'm at work and I feel like I have to sneak away for 5 minutes to play. And this is that game.
Don't tell on him, John, from work.
I'm not there anymore, so hey.
Hey. John from not work now?
Yeah.
He's still John from work.
Okay,
I'm,
job from work.
Okay.
I'm sorry. There's just a gigantic bass mobile that just decided that they needed to go by. And
Is that what that was? Okay.
really, really loud.
That's
After 12, okay,
it's
that's a
fun when
Brooklyn
it
thing.
when it shakes your house just from driving by.
It's easy to shake my house.
I guess.
It's an old house. Buses going by shakes it all the time.
Yeah, I remember.
House is actually 100 years old this year.
Jesus. Fucking centennial, huh?
Yeah.
Wow, good.
Goddamn.
Nice.
And it's still not as old as the gap between the next Metroid that we'll play.
That's
what was up with by the way, the X that copied the
Quiet Robe?
Quiet Robe, yeah. That was very, very odd.
So it didn't copy Quiet Robe. It reanimated Quiet Robe.
all right.
Yeah.
I kind of don't know Metroid lore or kind of care. What does the X do again?
It
So
mimics. It tends to mimic things.
Okay, but evil?
More like aggressive.
It's not that the X is evil. It's just like think like Galactus, right? Galactus
Just what I am.
It's hungry.
Galactus isn't evil. It's
a force.
It's just Galactus.
Okay.
Yeah.
So like the X isn't trying to do anything other than be the X, which is we're a parasite and we need to live and be parasites.
Because the SAX was trying to fuck me up in Fusion, so I just always took them as antagonistic.
Because you're
just trying to
fuck
you up because you were a Metroid.
You're a Metroid. That's why.
And now, the
true.
X has the ability to fight Metroids. By the way, do you notice that the SAX treats you like a Metroid? It will shoot you with the ice beam, and then it will missile you.
That's right.
It's such a small thing, but I love gameplay tweaks. Like, I can't go into cold now because I'm a Metroid.
Yeah, I really like that.
I just love little stuff like that.
Yeah, that was another thing I was going to comment on. I really appreciated that. I'm like, I get that reference.
Nice touch.
That's good.
That is perfect. Like, I can't go in this cold room because I'm a Metroid. Makes perfect sense to me.
Oh, that's so good.
Like, there's precedent for this. It's not just straight up bullshit. Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like rewarding your series knowledge in a great way.
Yep.
Which I really appreciate always.
I think Quiet Robe being basically the of the smart Chozo tribe as opposed to the dumb warlike Chozo tribe, which are still pretty smart.
Yeah.
Because
they could control the.
Remember, the Chozos created Metroid.
Yes.
Right.
Which is that's the big reveal in this game, right? Too like that's
I think that was a reveal in.
Was that a Fusion?
Returns.
It was already revealed that they created. It's in the manga.
Yeah,
okay.
there's like a lot of there's a manga that's like canon that I've
yeah. Well, there's some wild. That's Theo. That's the manga where we discover what Ridley's scream is. Do you guys know what I'm talking about?
Oh, is that like the dead parents or whatever?
That's literally the screams of Samus's parents dying.
Yeah.
So whenever Ridley's screaming at Samus, that's what she has to listen to. Awesome.
It's a terrifying scream, actually.
Yeah. It is. It really is. Like, canonically, it's just fucking even more amazing.
Mm-hmm.
So with Quiet Robe being as smart as this is just my theory, okay? There's no confirmation on this. Being as smart as he is about all of the research and stuff, that he knows that there's X on the planet. He knows they're quarantined, and I'm pretty sure he knows that somehow or another they're going to get out. So it is my idea that he at some point envisioned that this would happen, that he would get taken over by an X parasite, and already made this plan of I'm going to, I don't know, put Metroid DNA in myself or something to fight it, to be able to do whatever. I don't know. I just believe that he's smart enough to have figured out a way to do it. So then at the end, he's still the X parasite, but he's got some like Metroid DNA in him or something, and then he like
there's enough of him left in there to
sacrifices himself to Samus, and I don't know what.
We need Samus off this planet. She can't touch her ship. Somebody come in here and take that shit away from her. Guy, cool. White Robe, great. All right. I loved when Samus let go all of the X's and they're like, flying throughout the planet, and Adam is like, shit, all the X's are gone. And I just imagine Samus like, yeah, I guess so. I don't know how that happened.
Yeah.
You mean Ravenbeak?
Ravenbeak, yeah, sorry. Yeah,
He's like, oh no, all of the X's are loose. I wonder what that'll
no
do.
Ridley. I was genuinely shocked there was no Ridley.
There was no Ridley in this game.
Ridley is dead.
Ridley's dead. Yeah.
How long has Ridley been dead?
Ridley's been
since Other M, really, but
yeah, there's always been a Ridley.
But like he was dead by fusion.
Yes,
so.
in fusion he is dead. Like there was like an X version of Ridley, and that's dead. Like the X copied the dead version of Ridley.
Okay.
Well, you killed.
I've killed Ridley many times, is what I'm saying.
Yes. Well, we killed Kraid many times, which makes me think.
No,
Kraid
we actually haven't. We've only killed Kraid twice before this.
So is this the same Kraid?
I don't know.
Who knows?
I don't think so. I think it's just. I'm assuming it's another species.
Yeah, I'm thinking that because you see like little like mini Kraids.
Yeah,
there is precedent.
It's probably just a Kraid. Like it's not Kraid is not the name of the creature. It's the name of the life form.
Yeah.
I mean, even as far back as the original Metroid, there were 2 Kraids in that game.
Yeah.
Like one of them was the fake Kraid, which if you went there, you're just like, I wasted my time.
Yep.
I love that the central brain looks like a mother brain.
That got me thinking. Like mother brain is that had to be intentional because like you're in that room and it's shooting like rings and like
it totally is intentional. Yeah. Absolutely.
I'm like so this is what Mother Brain is based off of then. But, has to be.
Well, Mother Brain was made by the Chozo.
Yeah. Another thing we learned from the manga, right?
I think this game.
I think that's in the instruction manual of Metroid 1.
Okay.
That sounds right, yeah.
And she went rogue.
Right. Okay.
It was made by
and killed most of them or something.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I guess none of us actually touched on it. There's Chozo in this game.
Yeah. They're not eradicated like we thought.
Yeah.
They're alive?
It's so weird because you play through 4 games and they're just all like, Chozo ruins or random Chozo statues and this thing. It's just like
I mean, we knew the
these
Chozo
things have been long dead, but then if you read the manga, it couldn't have been that long.
No, because we know Samus is infused with Chozo DNA, so she can be using her power suit in the first place. It's what enables her to do that.
And live on in their atmosphere and shit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it was this is I gotta throw Nintendo under the bus. Stop showing off your entire game in your trailers. Just stop.
I stopped watching trailers for this game. I watched 1 trailer. Maybe 2, and I didn't watch anything after that. I've just learned my lesson from movies, man.
I watched obviously they put out the initial stuff, and I was like, "Oh, this is cool." And I watched a little bit of the treehouse afterwards, and I'm like, I like how this moves. Yeah, so they put out a trailer, and I'm like, "Yeah, I'm gonna watch this." And it was just like, "Oh, here's a Chozo. Oh, here's Kraid." I'm just like,
God damn it.
I love that my memory is so bad. I legit forgot about this.
So then Theo links this next trailer. I'm like, I'm not watching this. I still haven't watched it. I don't know what else they can spoil. But
you've beaten the game 3 times. Like, no, it's gonna spoil.
Real.
Where do they go from here? By the way,
I was just about to ask, what is Prime? Well, it's not the same question. What is Prime at this point?
Where does Prime 4 fit into the timeline here? Is Prime its own thing or what?
Prime is between 1 and 2.
Yes.
Or at least Prime's 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah.
But there's nothing saying that Prime 4 has to be in that time slot.
Right.
So they could maybe one of the reasons why it was so delayed was because they were doing something and they're like, no, you know what? We need to put this other game out first.
I really hope that's the case. I hope that's like secretly Metroid 6.
I mean, it's at best it's probably Metroid 5.5.
Yeah,
as far as story goes,
I think that's what Theo's implying essentially, though.
But Who knows? There's things in Prime that are still unanswered. There was like that other
Cyrax,
yeah, that guy.
yeah, not
Cyanide.
Cyrax. Yeah,
Cinnabar Island guy.
yeah, that guy.
Like most mainline Metroid games have to do with, you know, the Metroid story.
Mhm.
Which feels weird because there's only one Metroid now.
It's not Metroids, it's Metroid.
Yeah, well, like, it feels really weird to play this game. This game had no Metroids in it at all.
No,
Like,
it had one.
And there wasn't a you didn't fight a single Metroid. Not a
Because
single
you
one.
are it.
Yeah.
You still fought one in Fusion. Well,
Yeah,
the final boss was an Omega Metroid.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
the Federation were cloning Metroids.
Yeah. So like, it feels weird to to continue on a series where the main named antagonist is extinct. Feels
But
weird.
it's not though.
Like I half expected this story to like reintroduce him into the franchise somehow.
Joe,
Samus is Metroid.
I understand.
Metroid.
I get it. Okay. I get it.
no, but
You know, Samus becoming a Metroid feels like if Link was like, "My name is now Zelda."
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of hilarious in that way.
I also think that was canonically a good move in terms of
Yeah,
you know, we've established that these things are extremely dangerous and are a problem and they need to be gone, and now you are the problem, and at some
Where do we
point
go from
you
here?
will need to be gone.
Yes.
Yeah. It creates a fascinating narrative dilemma for later on,
So
which we will clearly get to. Much in the way that like it was inevitable for X and Zero to fight at some point in the Mega Man X series. You knew it was going to happen.
I mean, they really handled that one very poorly.
It didn't.
Yeah, they did. They're like, okay, now is the time for us to fight, and it was just okay.
It was fine. X5.
And X5 only made sense if you got the worst possible ending.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. Yeah, if like Zero got taken over and all that shit. But you do get that bangerang ass fucking track.
Yeah.
Because they knew they couldn't fuck that up.
There was no build for it. It was just they just hot shot a match together. There's no build for it.
It wasn't really a build for Daniel Bryan versus Kenny Omega, but it was still a great match.
Oh, there was the only build they needed for Brian Danielson versus Kenny Omega was Brian Danielson versus Kenny Omega.
True,
Wow.
and
That's all they needed to say.
You really channeled your Brian Alvarez right there. You sounded like you could have been on that talk show.
whatever. Joe and I were there, and it was incredible.
It was amazing.
It was fucking incredible.
It was amazing. That match was insane. I never thought I would see a 5-star match in person.
In person.
Yeah. Jesus.
And you know the next one they're going to do is going to be better.
Oh my god, yes.
It'll have an ending.
Yeah, exactly.
A draw is an ending.
You're right.
It counts. Perfect booking decision. Wrestling! I can see how thrilled Theo is right now.
so thrilled.
You're missing out.
You guys talk about wrestling.
You're missing out.
I'm not.
You should be watching wrestling.
Oh, he should.
You should be watching AEW.
Yeah, you should be watching AEW.
I look at wrestling the same way I look at Shenmue. It's like, I really appreciate that this is out there, and I'm gonna let the crazies just like this thing. And I like hearing the crazies talk about it. I'm like, oh wow, that does sound cool.
Yeah.
Did you want to play Shenmue?
No, I want to watch it though.
I never want to play it.
If I'm not playing it, I don't want to watch it either.
Oh, the anime looks good.
Oh, for God's sakes, get out of here.
I'm not making that up.
100 Sailor fight. I love hearing people talk about it.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah,
I've never even seen it. I refuse to watch it. I just like
it is my
tale.
Oh, great! Now I have to listen to Continent and Ocean again, Theo. Thank you.
I listened to it literally the other day.
Yeah,
no problem.
After I watched the trailer for the anime, but that is
just like wrestling. I love it.
That is legit one of my favorite moments in the game to play through.
Theo's secretly watching GCW behind our backs.
Marking out for Matt Cardona.
That's right.
Cardona, baby.
He's doing the work of his life right now, man.
Theo's the biggest Nick Gage market in the business.
God. Drug addicted bank robber.
He got clean.
You're right. He's better now, I guess. Oh man. So I guess
once we talk about wrestling is
it's time to wrap up. So all right, so ranking wise, where's this go on your Metroid list?
Are we okay? So before I answer that question, how many Metroid games are we talking about? Like every single one?
2D.
Like
2D.
Everyone you've ever played?
No.
2D.
Let's keep it 2D.
No. You can throw a Prime in there. Fuck it.
I mean, it's not going to. I don't think it's affecting Joe's ranking.
Not affecting my ranking either.
How high is he putting Prime anyway?
I'm like I'm just trying to say like, okay.
Still trying to
be which version of Metroid 2 do I include in this list? Do I include the unofficial one?
Let's keep it 2D.
Say whichever one you want.
Okay.
All right. For me,
say whichever one you want. They are different games, so
yeah. Since I just played through all the 2D ones recently, it's this. I really like Fusion. Zero Mission, Super, Samus Returns.
Okay. What about you, Joe?
I think we can all agree that the original Metroid is by far the worst of them.
Never even played it. That's why I put Zero Mission.
No arguments here.
It's not very good.
It has not aged well, and Zero Mission is superior in every conceivable way.
Yeah, Super Metroid is still my favorite.
That's not surprising.
Yeah, not at all. I think I still really like Metroid 2 a lot.
Original Metroid 2.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like it kind of set the bar for modern Metroids, and like that it was like the precursor to Super Metroid. But I think I don't like Fusion, and I never really played any of the Prime series, and I don't remember much about Zero Mission. So I guess I have to rank Dread as third, which is not at all insulting. I really ended up liking this game a lot.
It's a great game.
Yeah. I don't know if I'll ever really go back to it though.
Interesting.
I don't know if there's much more. Like, every time I finish a Metroid game, I feel like I haven't really unraveled it, and to this day, I still feel like I haven't unwrapped everything inside of Super Metroid as much as I've played it, and like I still feel like I'm missing stuff in that. I don't feel like I'm missing anything out of Dread.
Okay.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
That's fair. No, I understand that entirely. I completely get that.
I've gotten the whole experience, and it was great. But I don't know. I don't know if I'd go back to it right now.
You know that there's much for you right now at this point.
Yeah,
like, I can see where you maybe go back and play it again one day.
Yeah, I don't know what there is to go back to other than just finding the sequence breaks, which is a fun thing to do.
Yes,
it's a fun idea, but I don't really have any plans on speed running it, or even really maybe getting into a randomizer if that is ever a thing one day. So I don't know.
That could be interesting.
It could be very interesting. I think a randomizer for this game would be very interesting.
All right. What about you, Dre? Did you did this dethrone Zero Mission for you?
No. But I mean, look, it's as close as you can get. My top three: Zero Mission, Super Metroid, and this. No matter how many random issues I have with Super Metroid, that game is just too much of a landmark for me to put it any lower than 2. I just like out of just pure gameplay, I have a lot of issues with Super Metroid in terms of gameplay of that game. Like I just don't like how Samus controls in that game.
Same.
But even with all of that, there are things in that game that you can do that are still amazing, and the layout of the game is amazing. So I can't put it any less than 2, no matter what. But Zero Mission I think is just amazing. Because basically it's the same, not the same map, but the same ideas in the games.
Right.
Because Super Metroid was really building off of the first Metroid. And this is just the first Metroid, except now it's been influenced by Super Metroid.
Right.
So
with the controls.
Yeah, my biggest issue with Super Metroid was I just didn't really like the way Samus felt. I mean, at the time it was fine, but as we've moved further along, it's just
Why does
harder.
she feel like she's underwater this whole time?
The whole time.
Mm-hmm.
So it's harder and harder, and then
she's a little too floaty and slow.
I don't know how you could rebound wall jump off the same wall indefinitely and say that. I really don't know.
Because she's floaty and slow.
Because sometimes you just don't have a wall.
If you have a ledge, you have a wall.
Well, I don't need that.
Okay.
So I need, like, when you jump to not jump in the sky for like 22 years.
Yeah.
So it was basically Super Metroid, but with better gravity. So that's why I really loved Zero Mission.
Well, you know what? Maybe Planet Zebes just has lower gravity. Maybe that's it.
Same planet in both games.
Metroid 1 and Super Metroid? Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Dread basically does everything that I want out of a Metroid game, which is you have good gravity and you have good speed, except like the speed is amazing. And the only reason I don't put it at the top and like flip flop, because I even if I were to say that it's dethroned Zero Mission, I'd have to put Zero Mission 3 because I can't put it. I can't have Super Metroid not be at 2 because if it ever were to dethrone Zero Mission, it would be because I end up putting more hours into it than I put into Zero.
Right.
Yeah.
Because when I was playing Zero Mission, I was playing Zero Mission.
Yeah.
I was trying my best to be the best at that game when I was playing it.
Yeah, you were playing it the way I was playing Streets of Rage 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get that.
So, I don't know, obviously I'm at a different point of my life. I have different priorities. I'm still gaming. I'm not going to stop. But for me to say that I'm going to play Metroid Dread, and try to get 4 runs of it done in one day, I don't think I have that in me.
Yeah.
I could have done that easily while playing Zero Mission. Get a run done on the train to school, run done on the train after school, then a couple runs when I get home. Cool, easy. Trying to get that time down. Now it's just going to be like, if I get 1 run done in one day, that'll be cool.
That's cool. Yeah.
And honestly, I don't know if I'm going to get to that point. I would like to, but I don't know if I will. But I don't see a day where I'm going to go. Like, all right, I'm going to fire up the stream. Here's Metroid Dread speed runs for like sub 2. I don't see that happen.
Well, let's see the tech that develops around this game as time goes on.
A lot of tech.
It's weird tech.
It's some fun stuff already.
I actually did manage to get that
running into the screen.
I actually did manage to get that sequence break finally.
Oh, did you? Awesome.
Yeah.
I knew you would get it. It just takes a lot of
I don't know if I can get it again. But I can do the first part of it pretty easily. But
the first 3 are easy.
Yeah.
And then there's a second tumor that you can fire at a couple rooms away after that first one, and you can use that to fight the invisible boss before you get the charge beam. So you can have Phantom Cloak before you even go into the Emmy zone, and it allows you to go to the Emmy zone at a different spot, which then doesn't trigger the Emmy because you have to go in through the intended spot.
Interesting.
Emmy. So then you can just walk through the Emmy zone as much as you want to without being chased.
Hey,
that's so funny.
Neat.
But you do eventually have to trigger that cutscene because you obviously
need that ability. Yes.
That's really funny.
Yeah, there's a lot of dumb stuff.
I love jank shit.
There's a stream lock bug that people have figured out that allows you. This is what allows suitless, which is you don't pick up Varia and you don't pick up gravity.
Mm-hmm.
So it allows you to run through heated and cold areas, but you don't take any damage because the screen hasn't followed you. So they trigger, it's that first counter cutscene, like when you slide through into the monster and it
that, yeah.
counter. So they have to, it's something that they do to set it up beforehand. But once they have it set up, basically the tutorials that happen at the very beginning of the game never stop. So every time you slide into that room, you get the counter cutscene. So through something or another, they do, when you do that counter, the screen locks. And then they just run off the screen to the right, run off the screen back to the left and trigger speed boost. And then they slide back under it, and then they just navigate to the screw attack.
The scary thing about modern Metroid is that this could be patched out.
But you know what?
It won't.
They're not gonna.
I don't think they're going to.
They're not going to.
I hope not.
I don't think they're going to. I really don't think they're going to at all.
I really hope not.
Nintendo leaves in their jank for the most part. No, like even nowadays, like they leave it in because they realize people are like breaking their shit, and they're like, "Cool,
Yeah."
and they just leave it in. They just leave it in. Like, fuck it, leave it in.
There was a soft lock that could occur when.
Yes.
When you triggered the Quiet Robe cutscene, but you lost to the Robo Chozo.
Mm-hmm.
If you decided to go back and say, "Oh man, this fight was hard. Let me see if I can find some power-ups," and you talked to Adam, the game wouldn't correctly track that you talked to Quiet Robe. So you wouldn't get the Quiet Robe cutscene.
Uh-oh.
Then when you go back to fight the Robo Chozo, you can kill the Robo Chozo. But because the game doesn't think you had the Quiet Robe cutscene, the room that he opens up never opens up.
Oh god.
Right?
Oh no.
They fixed that.
I was gonna say that makes sense. That's different.
You just actually reminded me. I want to talk about just a quick kind of genius gameplay thing they did there, which actually reminded me of Mega Man X. To enter that room when you first meet Quiet Robe, you have to phase shift. You have to jump and phase shift to get into that room. You kind of that kind of tells you how to fight the Robo Chozo warriors.
Yes.
And I was like, oh, this is actually really smart.
Yep.
Because before then I was only doing it on the ground. I never really did it in the air. Maybe once like by accident. But once I did that, I was like, oh wait, I could air dash in this game.
Yeah, and you do it 3 times in a row.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, that's fucking genius. Remind me of the Mega Man Highway when you fall down and the game never tells you you could dash on the wall. You could wall jump.
Nope. Figure it out.
Yep.
Well, it tells you in the instruction manual, but you read those.
I read it.
I might read those.
We all read it back. We all
read it back in the day.
We all did. We all loved it.
I kind of meant like now.
No, I mean nobody has. There's no instruction booklets to read now. I don't want to read a PDF file.
Yeah, it's not the same.
Whack. So my rankings, this is number 1. I really love this game a lot. I would say this. I really, really loved AM2R a lot. I think AM2R might be number 2 for me.
That game is great.
I loved every fucking minute of that game. And there was a later patch that added fast travel to that last area, which was nice. It was the one issue with the map that the guy kind of forgot and went back and patched in.
Okay.
And after that, I would probably put Metroid Fusion and then Super Metroid. Although I really like Zero Mission a lot too, man. Zero Mission and Super Metroid are very close because I really, really fucking like Zero Mission a lot. So
about Fusion,
I
didn't have it in my top 3, and I don't. I put a few games over it too before I even get to it.
Yeah,
but that game makes you feel things that other Metroid games do not make you.
Yes,
this game is called.
Yeah.
This game is called
Metroid Dread, and there is I think you
could switch that title around, called this Fusion and that game Dread.
Absolutely, yes.
Felt scared playing a handheld game before.
Yeah.
When SAX walks in this room, you're like, "Fuck! Don't find me! Don't find me! Please don't find me!"
Yeah, no, the tension that gets created, and they do a pretty good job of replicating that with the Emmy fights in this game.
Yes.
Which again, like
I don't
this,
know.
it's not the same. It's not, and I'm not
Really
saying it's the
isn't,
same. It
yeah.
isn't because they let you know you can murder those things. I think a little too early. Like,
You just
I-
kind of jump right into it.
Yes.
If you couldn't kill that first one, like that first one, Ravenbeak destroyed it, right? That's why it's all beaten up.
yeah,
He
Oh
like,
yeah. I didn't think about that. Yeah.
he ripped off its arm and everything,
Hmm.
and they should have made it that you can't kill it.
yep.
Hmm.
Like for some reason, just be like you can't kill this. Like even though it's really beaten up and like on its last legs, and you could try everything you want to, you still have to run away.
Right. Right.
Like that, I think that would have made
Yeah,
it
the fact
feel
that they teach you
better.
right from the beginning how to murder them is definitely takes the teeth out of them a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I still think like the encounters create the tension themselves
Right.
as you go through, so it ends up being like a little like less like you still feel the tension with them, but like it's definitely I feel like if they had exercised that properly with the first one, it would have gone a lot better. I think they let you know about the Omega Cannon way too soon.
For all of Fusion's faults with its linearity, I think that game does not work if it isn't linear.
No, you're absolutely correct.
Yeah. It's a very clear design choice in that game.
That
Yeah.
is what they're
Yeah.
going for with that.
But
game.
imagine
Yeah.
if it wasn't. Imagine if you just like you're wandering through and you just stumble into the SAX,
Yeah, that'd be scary.
right?
Yeah,
It would be scary, but it would also kind of feel unfair. I think.
yeah.
Right.
Because like, what the fuck do I do? I just died. My
Yeah.
save point was several fucking
Mhm.
screens away. That
That
sucks.
could still happen though.
It's true.
Yeah.
That could still happen, but like
It's true.
it's once you find out that the SAX is kind of just a cutscene and not really a threat,
Hmm.
it's not as bad. But like the first time you're playing the game, you don't know that shit.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
You don't know that shit. It's just
Yeah.
like every time I saw the SAX, I was just like, oh my god, please don't murder me.
Why am I sweating with a handheld game? What the fuck?
What's going on here?
Why would you drop the power bomb there?
Oh my
Come
god,
on.
the power bomb there.
Fucking asshole.
Wouldn't you do that though?
Yes.
Yes. And that's what's so good.
That's why I was just like this freaking jerk.
So good.
Yeah, I adore Fusion. I just love the look of that game also. Like it's
Yeah.
the pixel work in that game is like top notch.
I
It's great.
agree.
I do like that game.
I love Fusion so much. I have so much like fondness in my heart for that game. It was my favorite Metroid game for a long time.
Yeah, the stage design and the gameplay and like it's amazing. It's
Yeah.
really, really good. I think it just took away what made Metroid.
Yeah, it fundamentally went against the thing you love the most about Metroid.
Yeah.
So it was never going to be your favorite.
Mhm.
Yeah, that makes sense to me.
It's good. Yeah,
I get that.
I love it. In fact, Metroid Fusion is fun. I played it several times.
Yes, great game.
When Fusion came out, was that the Metroid thing though?
Yeah,
Like-
by that time, yeah, it already was.
Yeah,
Yes,
I mean, you
absolutely.
can argue that's like the thing that like it's one of the main components of what people enjoyed about Super Metroid.
Okay,
But so Metroid is one game though.
right. Remember how Nintendo does things, right?
That's true.
Metroid 1 was a very open game, but it was
Yeah.
obviously extremely aimless and just
Right.
wasn't. But Metroid 2 is a very linear game.
Yeah,
It's an extremely linear game.
With no
So-
map.
Yeah.
Ugh.
So like Metroid
Fancy
3,
map. What happened?
Metroid 3 is basically Link to the Past in terms of
Right.
okay, so there's things that didn't work with the second game, so we're gonna go back and refine the first game.
Hmm.
And then the fourth game is just like, well, you know what? Maybe they listened to the complaints about the third game a little bit too much. Because I mean, like, this is not something new. Super Metroid is, while most gamers and people in the
Pundits.
industry will look at it as a very influential game. The truth is that game sold maybe 2 copies in Japan.
Yeah, it sold like shit in Japan.
And Nintendo will listen at that, especially at that point, listen to Japan and be like, hey, what didn't you like about this game? And
Mhm.
more than likely it was, hey, it was really hard to figure out what to do because this game doesn't tell you anything.
Yeah.
Which is
And they're
really a
like-
shame because that's really how I like to play games.
Yeah, I mean, like, I think that there's definitely a happy medium between game literally tells you nothing, and game tells you absolutely everything, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
These are two polar opposites. I mean,
Right.
I think a game like Dread is a little bit closer to the middle.
Right.
Yes, I agree. And I think that's why I liked it so much.
And it doesn't. There's a lot of talking in terms of, well, not Samus talking, but there's a lot of dialogue.
Right.
Mostly Adam. I mean, Ravenbeak talking to you. But he doesn't outright just. I think like maybe one time he says, "Hey, you should go here."
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. That's true.
But outside of that, it was just he's just like updating you on the information of what's going on. Like the only time I really remember him saying it was when you got the gravity and you popped into frozen Artaria.
Oh yes.
And you get out and you talk to Adam and he's like, "Yo, you should really come back here after you get the heat on because there's like some cool item down here."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I feel like that's like really the only time where I remember him explicitly telling me that I should do something.
Right.
Yeah.
So even though the gameplay itself is kind of the guiding hand, at least it's not outright telling you, "Hey, man,
Go to this waypoint that I just put on the map."
Yeah.
Go to Sector A.
And the reason they tell you that is that by that point, the game is open.
Mhm.
Yes. No, exactly. And that's the right time to do it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's so many places to go at that point. And I like that, like, when it finally felt like, okay, and you can go there. You didn't necessarily have to go right there right away, but you knew that you had to get there eventually, and it would be worth your time.
Right.
You know?
He even marked the item on the overall map, too. It's a nice glowing ball on the overall map. It's like,
oh, he did do that. Yeah.
we should come back here, shouldn't I?
Yeah. Oh, what a great game. Fucking
Fantastic.
Very good. Very
good.
happy with it after what I thought was going to be a very fusion-like experience. I ended up very happy with the total package.
Yeah, it was excellent.
I'm generally happy about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, same. I'm happy you like the game, Joe. I'm so happy.
Be like the Metroid. That's because I know how.
It would hurt if I didn't like Metroid. It would hurt.
Man,
a lot.
That's true.
I couldn't let you spiral down into not liking the game. It's like I'm not watching as many streams or paying attention to them the way I would because there's just a lot of stuff going on.
Oh, yeah.
But every time Joe played the game, I was like, I'm watching because I know there's things that he's not gonna like.
Right.
I'm just like subtle. And just like, nope, I gotta tell him. I gotta tell him because he's never gonna. If he doesn't see this, he's never gonna see it. If he doesn't see it at this point, he's never gonna see it.
I don't think you.
Right.
I don't think you outright told me anything.
I told you there was 2 sequence breaks.
Yeah, but I found them myself.
Right, but you wouldn't have looked.
No, you're right. Because I wouldn't have thought. Because at that time, what I thought the game was different.
Yes.
Right.
And that's why I was just like,
Yeah.
I was ready to drop you the hint. It was like,
I need to say it because if I didn't say it, then that would have been it. I
Yeah.
think that would have been it for it. And I was like, this guy is
That's
not
fair,
going to
yeah.
like it if he leaves this area. Because it was like, I'll explain it. There were 2 paths that he could have taken. And he sees the elevator, and then he decides, I'm going to keep exploring. And he keeps exploring, and he finds a second path. And he's like, okay, well, I'm going to go back to the elevator. But he can't. The game blocks him.
mhm.
And he was so angry about it. And it's just like, I'm sitting there, I'm just like, if I don't say anything
This is it.
about this, he's not gonna like this game at all. Like he's gone this far, and he's already been saying it's too linear and too restrictive. And it's like, if I don't say anything now, that's it. That is the point of the game for him, is that it's not gonna like it. So it's like 2 sequence breaks. He found them both. And the best part about it is he found the significant one and didn't even capitalize on it.
Nope.
Mm.
Because
He could have
why?
gotten
Why?
gravity suit
Why
on
was I fixated on it, Dre? What did I need? What was I
needed that
fixated on?
elevator.
I needed the elevator.
Needed that elevator.
I need the. And you know what it got me? You know what it got me?
A life piece.
A life piece. However, the way I got that thing
It was great.
was fucking great.
How'd you get it?
I gotta show you after.
All right.
I want to see this. Yeah.
I might actually clip that and put that to the end of this video.
You should. Yes.
Yeah.
You definitely should.
Yeah.
Sorry for the people listening on SoundCloud.
I'll put a link to it on SoundCloud. Link to the clip.
Okay.
There you go. Link in the description.
Yes.
I like it.
Well, speaking of the end of the video,
Mm-hmm.
it's about that time.
Indeed.
It is.
This was fun. I missed this.
I did too.
Oh my god! I was so excited that we were doing this.
I don't know
you
if I
have no
miss it.
idea.
I don't know if I miss it on a Sunday night before work anymore, but
This guy gets it.
now that I'm back to being in person,
Right.
yeah,
Yep. A little harder.
a little bit.
Mm.
It's a little
Understandably.
bit. I'm a little older. I'm 40 now.
Yep. The big
Yeah.
4-0.
This is the first recording I've had since I've hit 40.
Oh
isn't
shit!
it? Yeah.
Happy birthday! I didn't. know
It's
that you turned
fucking
40.
November, Theo.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you got a 6-month-old birthday. It's fine.
Hey, whatever.
Yeah, Dre, you're almost there, man.
Yeah, I get to say the line.
Right. Yep.
I'm just waiting for that day.
I already
might
got.
even
I
stream
look. I got mine in. It was satisfying. I did it.
might even stream it.
Yeah, it might even stream.
Christmas stream, huh? Interesting.
Yeah, I'm a man. I'm 40.
Oh man, I'm waiting, man. I've been practicing the line.
It's about the one good thing about being 40.
There had to be one thing.
Well, there's two. You're not 50.
That's good. That's a good one.
That's a fair point.
Bad way of looking at it, because
you know
in
what?
10 years you will be 50.
The way I see everybody in their 50s, nobody in their 50s minds being 50.
Yeah,
So maybe
because
it's
by that point you don't care anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you already know, like, you have one
There
foot
you
in the
go.
grave at this point, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Thanks.
Hey, man, what are you worried about?
I'm closest.
Young ass motherfucker.
Acting like you never read Hamlet. And always remember, the day you're born is the day you begin to die.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's Shakespeare.
And with that,
Oh, sure. That's a good.
You know what? You know what? When you said this was a Dread spoiler cast, I wasn't expecting existential dread.
hey,
Here we are.
Here we are.
the game didn't call me Dread, so something has to.
Oh,
It was
Christ.
it was a surprise, just like the game was.
Definitely thumbs up for me.
Oh yeah, God yeah.
Absolutely in
Recommend.
the running for Game of the Year.
Mm-hmm. It is currently my game of the year. Without it, like,
We're waiting to play Shimagami Tensei 5 also.
nope. That's funny.
I don't know what it is about that game, but it is not exciting me whatsoever.
What?
And
It's not core persona. That's why I get it.
All right. A discussion for another time, guys.
Yes. Yes.
Right.
Feels like, oh god, need to go to bed.
Spoiler casts.
What
Is
happened?
that-
Yeah, you always.
Do I cast off at the end of spoiler cast?
Why don't you
You
just
do.
do it for old time's sake anyway?
Well, and don't
42
forget to list your stuff. Remember, it's
No,
been
we
too
don't
long.
do that. We definitely don't do that in spoiler casts.
Okay.
Right? But SoundCloud and YouTube and whatever else.
Yeah.
4205 cast off.
Yeah! Oh, that was a long way to go for some bullshit, but we got it. Oh man.